Ayan na.
and the integration of culture and art studies during the time of Dr. Rex Emmanuel Ascension, until the amalgamation of sports and culture and arts during the term of Dr. Jimenez Montaron. By January 15, 2021, MSCCA reaps the fruits of the labor of Siglao Society attributed to Ma'am Ruby Ann Lantita and Miss Charmaine Balot. Now, MSc Kalinangan at Sining, or MSCCA, is transitioning to a regional creative hub. MSc Kalinangan at Sining is a creative hub composed of MSCCA Sayaw, MSc Dance Troupe, and Putong Group. MSCCA Dulaan, also known as the MSc Theater Guild, along with the MSc Liter Club. Then, there is the MSCCA Musica, a composite of the MSc Choir, Brass Band, and Marching Band. By far, through the Cultural Center of the Philippines and the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, MSCCA was able to perform during the CCP Tuloy Po Kayo last March, and during April, the National Literature Month, Saling Awit, Saling Tula was reproduced digitally for the MSCCA Learning Toolkit and the package to be Maropa.ed and the Regional CHED office. Likewise, several components of MSCCA was fully utilized during the production of the Likaan Resource Center documentary project and the mounting of Getsemani original play. MSCCA remains steadfast with the goals of the college to implement innovative, inclusive, and sustainable lifelong learning strategies under the new normal state of affairs. For the MSCCA, given the scenario that the NCCA, CCP, and Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino has established MSc Sentro ng Wika at Kultura and Regional Arts Center for further development of the national language and culture and offers a graduate diploma program for heritage studies. MSCCA has collaborated with several LGUs in the province for the cultural mapping, which involves scoping and negotiation, social preparation, training of local mappers, follow-up visits, and community validation. Mugpog has already been preparing for its second follow-up visit with a new set of local mappers, while Buena Vista has produced its own coffee table book called Small Town of Great Vista. Meanwhile, Gasan and Santa Cruz has undergone its community validation phase and is about to turn over its local culture profile. These efforts would come to full fruition after the local cultural inventory is in place through the Philippine Registry of Cultural Property. MSCCA also spearheaded the celebration of Arts Month, National Literature and Filipino Food Month, and National Heritage Month. MSCCA also hosted and initiated a series of virtual gatherings like Tertuliang Pambanitigan last April 16, 23, and 30. Likewise, MSCCA also organized with a class of Creative Cultural Development, COMELEC 4, BA Communication, the Tertuliang Pamana since May 7, 14, 21, and 28. This second semester, 2020 to 21, the ELS 109 Introduction to Language, Society and Culture would be compiling a toponymy of 218 communities in Marinduque, while the GEC 5 Contemporary World Class would be hosting a Creative Economy web conference. MSCCA also participated with the British Council's Drivers of Change Conference last March 16 to 19. The MSCCA head also imparted insights on cultural mappings for the local Council of Cultural Arts in Torrijos. The MSCCE head also moderated a session during the Quadricentennial Commemorative Conference last April 16, during which they launched the book Pangayaw and Decolonizing Resistance, published by PM Press in December of 2020. Last March, the MSCCE head with the national participate during the
tayo, halika na, sumulong at magkaisa sa hamon ng panahon. Pananatayo, makilaw tungo sa pag-unlad para sa bagong bukas. Panahon ay lumilipas, sa piling mo'y walang bukas. Tara na, edukasyon, sumulong ka, dakila ka, edukasyon, dakila ka. Tayo na, sumama ka, pumadyak ka. Halika na, sumulong ka, tayo na. Lumikha ng panibagong himig para sa lahat. Patayin natin makabagong hiyas ng nakaraan. Tara na, edukasyon, sumulong ka, dakila ka, edukasyon, dakila ka. Tayo na, sumama ka, pumadyak ka. Halika na, sumulong ka, tayo na. Tara na, edukasyon, sumulong ka, dakila ka, edukasyon, dakila ka. Tayo na, sumama ka, pumadyak ka. Halika na, sumulong ka, tayo na.
Between 2006 and 2016, Marinduque State College Culture and the Arts has undergone several transformations. From Spear, under the leadership of Ma'am Filomena Sapalio, then the consolidation of Teatro Marinduqueño, dance troupe, and MSC choir with the efforts of Mrs. Rosalinda Castro, and the integration of culture and art studies during the time of Dr. Rex Emmanuel Asuncion, until the amalgamation of sports and culture and arts during the term of Dr. Jomenes Montaron. On February 15, 2021, MSCCA reaps the fruits of the labor of Siklab Society attributed to Ma'am Ruby Ann Lantita and Miss Charmaine Balot. Now, MSC Kalinangan at Sining, or MSCCA, is transitioning to a regional creative hub. MSC Kalinangan at Sining is a creative hub composed of MSCCA Sayaw, MSC Dance Troupe, and Putong Group. MSCCA Dulaan, also known as MSC Theater Guild, along with the MSC Litter Club. Then, there is the MSCCA Musica, a composite of the MSC Choir, Brass Band, and Marching Band. By far, through the Cultural Center of the Philippines and the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, MSCCA was able to perform during the CCP Tuloy Po Kayo last March. And during April, the National Literature Month, Saling Awit, Saling Tula was reproduced digitally for the MSCCA Learning Toolkit and packaged to Mimaropa DepEd and Regional CHED Office. Likewise, several components of MSCCA was fully utilized during the production of Likhaan Resource Center documentary project and the mounting of Gethsemane original play. MSCCA remains steadfast with the goals of the college to implement innovative, inclusive, and sustainable lifelong learning strategies under the new normal state of affairs. Given the scenario, the NCCA, CCP, and Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino has established MSC Sentro ng Wika at Kultura and Regional Arts Center for further development of the national language and culture and offers a graduate diploma program for heritage studies. MSCCA has collaborated with several LGUs in the province for the cultural mapping, which involves scoping and negotiation, social preparation, training of local mappers, follow-up visits, and community validation. Mugpog has already been preparing for its second follow-up visit with a new set of local mappers, while Benavista has produced its own coffee table book called Small Town of Great Vista. Meanwhile, Gasan in Santa Cruz has undergone its community validation phase and is about to turn over its local cultural profile. These efforts would come to full fruition after the local cultural inventory is in place through the Philippine Registry of Cultural Property. MSCCA also spearheaded the celebration of Arts Month, National Literature and Filipino Food Month, and National Heritage Month. MSCCA also hosted and initiated a series of virtual gatherings like Tertuliang Pampanitikan last April 16, 23, and 30. Likewise, MSCCA also organized with the class of Creative and Cultural Development, COMELEC 4, BA Communication, the Tertuliang Pamana since May 7, 14, 21, and 28. This second semester, 2020 to 21, the ELS 109, Introduction to Language, Society, and Culture, will be compiling a toponymy of 218 communities in Marinduque, while the GEC 5, Contemporary World Class, would be hosting a Creative Economy web conference. MSCCA also participated with the British Council's Drivers of Change conference last March 16 to 19. The MSCCA head also imparted insights on cultural mapping for the local Council for Culture and Arts in Torrijos. The MSCCA head also moderated a session during the Quadricentennial Commemorative Conference last April 16, during which they launched the book Pangayaw and Decolonizing Resistance, published by PM Press in December of 2020. Last March, the MSCCA head was invited by the National Association of Studies Center, or Kabansa, to participate during a webinar series in celebration of the 500 years of the Battle of Mactan. MSCCA is also participating in the Creative Futures Conference and the Kaagi 2021 Philippine Studies Conference, organized by the University of London's School of Oriental and African Studies. MSCCA is already an institutional member of the Association of Cultural Office in Philippine Educational Institutions, or ACOPE. MSc Kalinangan at Sining is also included in the CCP's Art Directory. Likewise, MSCCA is a provisional member of the ASEAN University Network on Culture and the Arts. MSCCA is taking part of the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development and Global Recovery.
Na tayo. Halika na, sumulong at magkaisa sa hamon ng panahon. Pananatayo, makilaw tungo sa pag-unlad para sa bagong bukas. Panahon ay lumilipas, sa piling mo'y walang kupas. Tara na, edukasyon, sumulong ka. Dakila ka, edukasyon, dakila ka. Tayo na, sumama ka, pumadyak ka. Halika na, sumulong ka, tayo na. Lumikha ng panibagong himig para sa lahat. Patayin natin makabagong bias ng nakaraan. Tara na, edukasyon, sumulong ka. Dakila ka, edukasyon, dakila ka. Tayo na, sumama ka, pumadyak ka. Halika na, sumulong ka, tayo na. Tara na, edukasyon, sumulong ka. Dakila ka, edukasyon, dakila ka. Tayo na, sumama ka, pumadyak ka. Halika na, sumulong ka, tayo na.
Between 2006 and 2016, Marinduque State College Culture and the Arts has undergone several transformations. From Spear, under the leadership of Ma'am Filomena Sapalio, then the consolidation of Teatro Marinduqueño, dance troupe, and MSC choir with the efforts of Mrs. Rosalinda Castro, and the integration of culture and art studies during the time of Dr. Rex Emmanuel Asuncion, until the amalgamation of sports and culture and arts during the term of Dr. Jomenes Montaron. By January 15, 2021, MSCCA reaps the fruits of the labor of Siklab Society attributed to Ma'am Ruby Ann Lantita and Miss Charmaine Balot. Now, MSc Kalinangan at Sining, or MSCCA, is transitioning to a regional creative hub. MSc Kalinangan at Sining is a creative hub composed of MSCCA Sayaw, MSc Dance Troupe, and Putong Group. MSCCA Dulaan, also known as MSC Theater Guild, along with the MSC Literature Club. Then, there is the MSCCA Musica, a composite of the MSC Choir, Brass Band, and Marching Band. By far, through the Cultural Center of the Philippines and the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, MSCCA was able to perform during the CCP Tuloy Po Kayo last March. And during April, the National Literature Month, Saling Awit, Saling Tula was reproduced digitally for the MSCCA Learning Toolkit and packaged to Mimaropa DepEd and Regional CHED Office. Likewise, several components of MSCCA was fully utilized during the production of Likhaan Resource Center documentary project and the mounting of Gethsemane original play. MSCCA remains steadfast with the goals of the college to implement innovative, inclusive, and sustainable lifelong learning strategies under the new normal state of affairs. Given the scenario, the NCCA, CCP, and Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino has established MSC Sentro ng Wika at Kultura and Regional Arts Center for further development of the national language and culture and offers a graduate diploma program for heritage studies. MSCCA has collaborated with several LGUs in the province for the cultural mapping, which involves scoping and negotiation, social preparation, training of local mappers, follow-up visits, and community validation. Mugpog has already been preparing for its second follow-up visit with a new set of local mappers, while Benavista has produced its own coffee table book called Small Town of Great Vista. Meanwhile, Gasal in Santa Cruz has undergone its community validation phase and is about to turn over its local culture profile. These efforts would come to full fruition after the local cultural inventory is in place through the Philippine Registry of Cultural Property. MSCCA also spearheaded the celebration of Arts Month, National Literature and Filipino Food Month, and National Heritage Month. MSCCA also hosted and initiated a series of virtual gatherings like Tertuliang Pampanitikan last April 16, 23, and 30. Likewise, MSCCA also organized with the class of Creative and Cultural Development, COMELEC 4, BA Communication, the Tertuliang Pamana since May 7, 14, 21, and 28. This second semester, 2020-21, the ELS 109, Introduction to Language, Society, and Culture, will be compiling a toponymy of 218 communities in Marinduque, while the GEC5, Contemporary World Class, would be hosting a Creative Economy web conference. MSCCA also participated with the British Council's Drivers of Change conference last March 16 to 19. The MSCCA head also imparted insights on cultural mapping for the local Council for Culture and Arts in Torrijos. The MSCCA head also moderated a session during the Quadricentennial Commemorative Conference last April 16, during which they launched the book Pangayaw and Decolonizing Resistance, published by PM Press in December of 2020. Last March, the MSCCA head was invited by the National Association of Studies Center, or Kabansa, to participate during a webinar series in celebration of the 500 years of the Battle of Mactan. MSCCA is also participating in the Creative Futures Conference and the Kaagi 2021 Philippine Studies Conference, organized by the University of London's School of Oriental and African Studies. MSCCA is already an institutional member of the Association of Cultural Office in Philippine Educational Institutions, or ACOPE. MSc Kalinangan at Sining is also included in the CCP's Art Directory. Likewise, MSCCA is a provisional member of the ASEAN University Network on Culture and the Arts. MSCCA is taking part of the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development and Global Recovery.
The year 2021 is UNESCO designated International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development and Global Recovery. Despite the difficulties and hardship brought about upon by the COVID-19 pandemic, creativity could help in healing and transformation. The scope of the toolkit is not only for the province of Marinduque or the region of Mimaropa, but the digital, online, and virtual world. Good day to everyone. I am Randy Nobleza from the island province of Marinduque. I am the Marinduque State College Culture and Arts Unit Head. So let me share my slide for today's presentation. So the paper that I am about to share is entitled MSCC, a Learning Toolkit for Regional and Global Development during the New Normal Era. So I divided the paper accordingly. Introduction, materials and methods, results and discussion, conclusion, and I also included an acknowledgement. So the year 2021 is also the celebration of quincentennial of the battle in Mactan in Cebu, and also beginnings of Christianity in the archipelago. So the materials and methods for this paper are the following. So this is the compilation of CD of audio recordings, including Obrang Sining, Katang Isip, and Saling Awit, Saling Tula. Likewise, it is included in the learning toolkit are the video recordings and a DVD, which includes Siklaw Society, e-performance, and the webinar talk series Cine Marinduque and Tanghal Marinduque. Also included in the materials is the printed booklets of the History of Marinduque excerpts and the literary folio Malikhain and Balangaw. And also the history book of Francisco Labay entitled Kwento ni Lolo Kiko. And finally, we also have a couple of student output, which is hardbound copies of Pecha Kucha Marindo Quezon, 400 heritage items of Quezon, and Pecha Kucha Marindo Quezon, 100 heritage items of Marinduque. So in celebration of the quincentennial, so last April, we just had the National Literature Month celebration and the Filipino Food Month as well. So here are the details of the results and discussion. So Obrang Sining Katang Isip is the brainchild of Oscar Loreto, folk art and musician, compositor who recorded the original compositions like Tinig sa Pulo, Lalawigan, Daang Paraiso, and Tagaytay. Also included are Tuba and a new rendition of Juban Magyaya version of Marinduque March. So Saling Awit, Saling Tula are a combination of folk songs from the town of Gasan and spoken word poetry from the book of Joseph Sagid. So we selected 5 folk songs entitled Alamat ng 20 Gansa, Dalagang Parang, Isang Buong Dayap, Lahat ng Bagay, and Sulong Aking Tandang. And in the spoken word poetry from the anthology of Joseph De Luna Sagid are the following. Kung paano pa maari maunawaan ang Diyos, unang gabi, tanawin, anting bulat.
9 a.m. na po.
Hello, good morning po.
Morning po, sir.
May we start on time so we can...
Medyo naglalag po, sir. Sir Ryan?
Okay po sir, we'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Konnichiwa. Good morning and welcome to EDM Advanced Foreign Language 2. This is Jishu Tochiso, Knowing Your Culture, live streaming on YouTube via Zoom meeting platform. Ladies and gentlemen, let us join in the virtual singing of Philippine National Anthem to be followed by a doxology to be presented to us by Group 3.
Mga kababayan, sang awit ng Pilipinas. En nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Our Heavenly Father, the fount of all goodness and grace, the cause of wisdom, the source of intelligence, we welcome you, O Lord, to this auspicious gathering of your beloved, who continuously give you thanks for every opportunity to learn something new and become fruitful to the works of your creation. We humbly come to you, not because we are worthy, but because we find ourselves in need of you, who is our strength and our hope, to continue despite the challenges we face in health, prosperity, and our solidarity with one another. We pray that today's gathering, made possible by the grace of advancements in technology and social media, becomes successful in its endeavors so we can offer it back to you as our humble offering to honor you, glorify you, and love you through our deeper connection with everyone. May we find bliss in today's session and become more productive children and co-creators of the earth. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
This is the culmination of what we have seen, heard, experienced, or learned from the subject Advanced Foreign Language 2 integrated with the culture of the Philippines. And to officially start our program today, let us welcome remarks from Miss Mary Joy Poliero of Group 1.
To our proficient and dedicated course professor, Dr. Randy Nobleza, to our respected guests and validators today in our virtual culminating activity, and to my diligent classmates in Foreign Language 2, I would like to greet each and everyone a pleasant morning and welcome to our virtual culminating activity. Cultural education and appreciation influence emotional, moral, and spiritual life, so it is very important that we know and understand our culture and heritage. And this activity is such great opportunity to discover variety of arts and culture. I'm pleased that despite of the hectic schedule and the overflowing school-related works, mostly because all of us are teachers, we were able to accomplish the course requirement, and today is the moment that we are all waiting for, to witness all the efforts made by our classmates for their presentations. So once again, welcome to our Foreign Language 2 culminating activity. Thank you.
Let us continue listening to warm our mood and to jumpstart to what we are expecting. Let us give the platform to Mr. Nolito C. Quindala to deliver his message. Sir Noli Quindala, this is your turn to deliver your message. Mr. Quindala, okay, so we've lost Mr. Quindala. So moving on, we gather this day for a reason. This is the consolidation of our collective effort under one goal. We may have been into anxiety, fun, adventure, exhaustion, or burnout, but upon hearing the statement of purpose of the program, we'll rekindle once again our strength and enthusiasm to continue moving forward. And we will hear it from Mr. Norby A. Cabanela.
Thank you very much, sir. To my fellow classmates, to our guests and visitors, and to our professor, Professor Randy Noblesa, good morning. In Japanese, in Nihongo, Ohayo Gozai Imasu. To my fellow classmates, I know how much time and effort we put into this subject. And not to mention that this subject coincide in time where it is the most busiest time in our professional life. We juggle our time in different tasks, accomplishing for school forms, encoding grades, reading of grades, editing and creating videos for moving up and graduation. But with that many tasking, we learn to love the beauty of this subject because we embrace the challenge of learning a new dimension of foreign language, or in Japanese, Gaikuku go Nihongo. Let me quote the quotation of Karl Marx. According to him, there is no royal road to a science or education. Only those who do not dread the fatiguing climb of its steep path will attain the luminous summit. And today, my friend and classmate, is the luminous day in which we can showcase our work for the world to appreciate and let them stare in awe. And before I finish my message, in behalf of my classmates, we would like to say thank you to our professor who inspired us to appreciate and love the Japanese language. In Nihongo, Soshite Kurasimetu ni Kawate Messi, Ogero me Nihongo o Takako Hoyokashe ay Soro ne Oshitero Koreta Randi Noboresa Kyoko ni Kansha Shimasu. Thank you very much.
At this point in time, let us all sit back, find our comfort as we are nearing to the highlight of today's program. And before we proceed, let us recognize and welcome our guest validators as they will be presented and introduced to us by Mr. Ronan Kirby P. Soriano.
Very much, Sir Ryan. So it is my privilege and honor to be presenting our distinguished guest.
You are muted, Sir Kirby.
Hello, sir. Am I heard?
Rinig na, sir.
Okay, once again, thank you very much, Sir Ryan Villamiel. It is really a privilege and honor to be presenting to everyone our distinguished guests, validators. So let me start with our first validator. He is a magna cum laude graduate of Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication at Far Eastern University, Manila in 2014. Worked as online marketing associate at Aficionado Germany Perfume. He was also the media relations associate of the Lord of Saints, Mr. Joel Cruz. He also worked as junior management officer for marketing and a part-time lecturer at Informatics Philippines. He was also a part-time lecturer at the senior high school program of Our Lady of the Angels Academy in Atimonan, Quezon. Currently, he is working as Information Officer 2 and Designated Tourism Officer of the Local Government Unit of Atimonan. He participated in the different workshop and training for tourism, culture, and arts development. Currently, spearheading the 10-year tourism development planning for Atimonan, Quezon in partnership with the University of the Philippines Asian Institute of Tourism, a pageant handler and director for various national and local pageants, festival manager for Tagultol Fishing Festival, delegation head for different festivals such as Niyugyugan and Aliwan Fiesta, and an advocate of planning as a tool for sustainable development. Friends, classmates, our first validator, no other than, let us give a virtual clap, Mr. Nesler Luis C. Almagro. Good morning, sir. Now let me introduce to you our second validator. She is a teacher 3 at Malinaw Ilaya National High School, Barangay Malinaw Ilaya, Atimonan, Quezon. Her educational attainments are as follows: NC2 Pazar, Food and Beverage Services, Bread and Pastry, and Bartending. She earned 33 units in Master of Arts in Applied Linguistics at Southern Luzon State University, Lucban, Quezon. She also earned a graduate diploma in cultural education at Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Calamba City, Laguna, batch 2012. Our second validator, let us give a virtual clap, Mrs. Charlene Parco Anda. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning po.
Our third validator is a Master Teacher 1 in Porta Vaga Elementary School, Cavite City. She is a native of Misamis Oriental, where she earned Bachelor of Science in Agriculture Education, major in entrepreneurship at Misamis Oriental State College, Claveria, Misamis Oriental. She also earned Master in Education, major in entrepreneurship at Misamis Oriental State College of Agriculture and Technology. She is also a holder of graduate diploma in culture education, Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Calamba City, Laguna. Our third validator is no other than, let us give a virtual clap to Mrs. Jasmine Valdon Facturanan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am. And once again, good morning and thank you very much.
So this is it. We will be witnessing the different and various category of our province's rich cultural heritage. Let us discover what is in store for us. How can we appreciate, preserve, and develop these tangible and intangible legacies for the future generation? This is the Jisoo to Jisoo presentation. Let's watch and listen to the presentation of Group. And let us begin with Group 1 with Mr. Derek D. Villasoto as Group 1 presenter.
Konnichiwa minasan and welcome to the cultural mapping for of Group 1 for Natural Resources. So let us now move on with the cultural mappers. We have our first cultural mapper. We have here Mr. Ronan Kirby P. Soriano for 1A land formation. This will be followed by our second cultural mapper, Mr. Nolito C. Quindala, 1B for bodies of water. It is being followed by Mr. Norby A. Cabanela, 1C for plants. Our third mapper is the presenter itself, Mr. Derek De Villasoto for animals. Our fifth presenter rather, is Mr. Frederick S. Brin for protected areas. And lastly, we have Ma'am Mary Joyce C. Foliero for thematic maps. So for this presentation, for this morning, we'll be focusing on the 4 cultural maps. Our first cultural map that will be presented is the La Laguna Marshland. This will be followed by the Lamon Bay. Thirdly is the Talisayon. And lastly is the presentation of Shimacorma Olawin Spring Protected Landscape. So let us now start. Let us start with the first cultural mapping form, which is the La Laguna Marshland. This is being mapped by Mr. Ronan Kirby P. Soriano for 1A. So La Laguna Marshland is being located in Lopez, Quezon, and is being owned by the local government of Lopez, Quezon. It has the area of 500 hectares. La Laguna Marsh is near the southernmost tip of Lamon Bay in Quezon Province. It is an inland freshwater marsh with dense reed beds and an abundant growth of other aquatic vegetation. The maximum depth of the water is 3 meters. During the dry season, which is February to April, the water level recedes and about 1/3 of the marsh dries out. Some boat navigation is possible in cleared areas. The marsh provides an important source of fish for local inhabitants and supports a small reed cutting industry for basket making and mat weaving. There are coconut plantations, rice paddies, and residential areas around the marsh. Now, for the stories associated with the land formation, the Laguna Marshland has been declared as the critical habitat for migratory birds of the local government of Lopez. The Laguna Marshland is a 500-hectare freshwater marsh, which is ideal for bird watching, fishing, and boating. This is being owned and protected by the local government of Lopez. The marsh is a popular roosting ground to the endemic Philippine duck and more than 120 bird species. The marshland covers the territories of barangays sa Laguna, Tanag, Ibaba, and Tocali. Fishing in the marsh is free. Some of the catch includes tilapia, dalag, hito, puyo, biya, pulos, gurami, paros, parotis, and bugitis. Visitors can also rent a boat from local fishermen and glide serenely among its shallow waters. Boats in the area are propelled not by diesel fuel motors but by tikin or bamboo poles, which are being pushed into the marsh bed. Now, La Laguna Marshland has various significance. One of which is its economic significance. For the economic significance of La Laguna Marshland, it generates income to local boat riders and fishermen. On the other hand, it can meet different problems along its way, some of which are the natural disasters like storm, floods, and other geological processes. So that concludes the presentation of cultural mapping forum for La Laguna Marshland. For further data and for more comprehensive data, you may check out the SEMA form of Mr. Ronnie Kirby P. Soriano for 1A land formation. Let us move on to the second cultural mapping form, which is 1B, that is being mapped by Mr. Nolito C. Quindala. Here we have the Lamon Bay. Lamon Bay is a large bay in the southern part of Luzon Island in the Philippines. It has the area of 9,150 hectares. Lamon Bay in southern Quezon is considered to be a sea. Lamon Bay is a large bay in the southern part of Luzon Island in the Philippines. It is a body of water connecting the southern part of Quezon Province to the Philippine Sea, a marginal sea of the Pacific Ocean. It borders on the coastal towns of Patimonan, Gumaca, Plaridel, Lopez, Calawag, and other islands of Palawan. Lamon Bay is located at the southern part of Quezon. The estimated surface area of Lamon Bay is about 9,150 hectares or equivalent to 22,600 acres. It is being owned by the in terms of the ownership and jurisdiction, southern part of Luzon, which is Quezon Island in the Philippines, it borders on the coastal Atimonas of Atimonan, Gumaca, Playa de Lopez, Calawag, and the islands of Calabat. Now for the description of Lamon Bay. Lamon Bay is a large bay in the southern part of Luzon. There we have the information a while back. It is a rich fishing ground and the home of various living corals. Most part of the bay consists of gray sand. Some parts are filled with rocks and other living corals. It is gradually sloping to the extent that during low tide, the water level is low enough to allow one to walk as far as 500 meters from the shore, like in Pulong Pasig of Calawag. You have there the sandbar. The beaches in the towns of Gumaca and Plaridel are sandy and ideal for swimming. White sand beaches are found in the villages of Kapaluhan, Santo Angel, Talinting, Pangahoy, and Dapdap of Calawag. In some parts of the bay, about 10 feet from the beach front, are living corals. The town of Lopez have colonies of corals, which are located just about 15 minutes by boat from the shore. Now, for the stories associated with the water formation, in terms of the Lamon Bay, it is being known before as Busuan Bay. Lamon Bay is named after Lamong, a pirate that was killed by Gumaca's earliest ruler, Lacan Bugtali. The beaches in the towns of Gumaca and Plaridel are sandy and ideal for swimming, especially during the months of April and May. During those era or during those period, a caution is being brought into everyone because of the presence of jellyfish. In some parts of the bay, about 10 feet from the beachfront, are living corals. Now, in terms of the Japanese invasion of Lamon Bay or paglusob ng mga Hapones sa loob ng Lamon, this was a secondary mission in the Japanese invasion of Lingayen Gulf during the 1941 to 42 Japanese 1941 to 42 Japanese conquest of the Philippines. Securing the coast southeast of Manila would complete the Japanese encirclement of the capital and would act as a diversionary attack from the Japanese main invasion force from the north. Now, in terms of the economic significance of Lamon Bay, it is a rich fishing ground that supplies substantial marine and fish requirements of southern Tagalog region and Metro Manila. Apart from having a rich marine life and other aquatic resources, the coastal towns of General Nakar, Infanta, Real, and Mauban, Alabat Island, Atimonan, Plaridel, Gumaca, Lopez, and Calawag, Quezon cover large area of forest lands which in wild flora and fauna, animals, forests, and fruit trees, and the watershed area supplies supporting existing and proposed hydroelectric power plants, domestic water supply, and irrigation works. Now, for the constraints, threats, and issues that are met in the Lamon Bay, large portion of the original mangrove forest have been degraded or completely destroyed for the construction of fish and shrimp ponds. Because of some issues in fishermen extravagance or abuse in capturing small kinds of sprout fish, maybe someday it result of exhaustion of aesthetic environment. Lamon Bay in the future needs to have a measure of conservation to protect into this kind of abuse. Now, for the conservation measures, there are different conservation measures we have to protect the Lamon Bay in exhausting issues. We have here the Northern Quezon Development Authority or NQDA that shall, which is being referred to as the authority, is hereby created, which shall promote, coordinate, and facilitate the active and extensive participation of all sectors to effect and socio-economic development of the northern area in the 1st Congressional District of Quezon. According to Inquiry.net, following the success of the artificial reef project, the municipal government adopted it as a major component of its protection and rehabilitation program for the Lamon Bay. It has become a necessary component in the revival of the bay in the absence of mangrove forests in the area. The natural breeding ground of marine species. Now, at least 10 artificial reefs are found in the waters of Atimanan, which is being sustained by the municipal budget of 500,000 yearly. Renewed public and private partnership had also been strengthened the war against illegal fishing activities, particularly the rampant intrusion of commercial fishing bells in municipal water. So that is, those are the information that is related to the cultural mapping of Mr. Nolito Sikindala for bodies of water, specifically the Lamon Way. Let us move on to the third cultural mapping form that is being mapped by yours truly, Mr. Derek De Soto, for animals. Here we have the talisayon. Talisayon, which is considered to be an endangered species according to the red list. It has the other common names of bildog, green sea turtle, Pacific green turtle. It has the scientific name of Chelonia midas and the taxon ID of 8469. It is being classified as a reptile and exotic in origin. It is being sighted in the shores and coastline of Quezon provinces. Green turtles are found mainly in tropical and subtropical waters. Like other sea turtles, they migrate long distances between feeding grounds and the beaches from where they are hatched. For the time that is most seen, it can be seen year-round, specifically in Turtle Island Group in Tawi-Tawi and in El Nido. Now, for the physical features of talisayon, the green turtle is one of the largest sea turtles and the only herbivore among the different species. Green turtles are in fact named for the greenish color of their cartilage and fat and not of their shells. Now, for the common uses of the talisayon, it is considered to be a wildlife reptile. Thus, acquisition and hunting of this is being prohibited by law. Internationally, but in very rare cases, such as in West Africa, sea turtles are being killed for use in medicine and some traditional ceremonies. But as what I have said, this is considered to be a wildlife, and hunting of this is prohibited by law. Now, for the stories associated with the talisayon, the name Kalawag was derived from an incident in which a huge turtle known as Kala was caught near the seashore of the town. When the town people tried to kill the turtle with sticks, the fisherman who caught the turtle dissuaded them from doing so by shouting Kala, huwag Kala, hence the derivation of the name Kalawag. For the conservation status, the Philippines is home to 5 of the 7 sea turtle species in the world, which are the green turtle, hawksbill turtle, the loggerhead turtle, leatherback turtle, and the olive ridley. All species are endangered and are listed on the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN Red List. The Philippines turtle conservation work has spanned almost 4 decades, thus ensuring that biodiversity is being protected for current and future generations. Now, for the constraints, threats, and issues that are being met by this specific species, as being classified as endangered, green turtles are threatened by overharvesting of their eggs, hunting of adults, being caught in fishing gear, and loss of nesting beach sites. So those were the issues that are being met by the talisayon. Now, for the conservation measures, by virtue of Executive Order number 542, which is being signed on June 26, 1979, the Task Force Pawikan, or Marine Turtle Task Force, now referred to as the Pawikan Conservation Project, or the PCP, became the Philippine government's urgent response to conserve and manage the dwindling marine turtle resources of the country. The PCP is responsible for the development and implementation of conservation and protection policies, management and propagation schemes, and public information and educational programs to ensure the survival and growth of the country's remaining marine turtle populations. Now, that would be the end of the third map we had prepared for animals. Now, let us move on to the fourth. For the fourth sea map, we have here the Maulawin Spring Protected Landscape, which is being mapped by Mr. Frederick S. Green for protected areas. Now, Maulawin Landscape is being located in Guinean, Quezon. The Maulawin Spring Protected Landscape is protected landscape area of forested hills and several rivers and streams located in the province of Quezon on southern Luzon Island in the Philippines. It was originally created in 1939 to protect the watershed in the municipality of Guineangan, known as the Maulawin Spring Watershed Forest. Now, it has the area of 149.01 hectares, or equivalent to 368.2 acres. Now, for the legislation and date of legislation, in 2000, the forest reserve was enlarged and was redesignated as a protected landscape under the National Integration Protected Area System the NIPAS, by virtue of Proclamation number 295 issued by the former President Joseph Estrada. Now, for the physical features of this protected area, the park is traversed by several rivers and creeks, some of which dry up during the summer months and which empty into Katabangan Bay and Ragay Gulf, including the Maulawin River, Hiwasayan River, Tubog Creek, and Prensa River. These rivers supply water from the Giniangan Water District. The topography of the park is characterized as a complex of land configuration ranging from slightly level, sloping to rolling, and steep to hilly and rugged mountains. It has an elevation of between 250 meters and 500 meters above sea level and is composed primarily of clay loam. Now, for its significance, effectively managed protected areas are a critical tool for safeguarding biodiversity, maintaining ecosystem balance, preserving important habitats, building resilience to climate change, providing global food security, maintaining water quality, conserving natural resources, and driving economic success. Now, for the status of protection, protected area under the Conservation and Protection of Protected Area Management Board, or the BAMP, composed of various government agencies and NGOs. The Maulawin Spring Protected Landscape is known for its refreshing vibes of nature and amazing ecotourism facilities. Now, for the constraints and issues, this includes poaching of protected animals and encroachment by human settlements and agriculture. Now, for the conservation status, the Protected Area Management Board, or what we have said, the BAMP, set rules and regulations with the support of DNR and in partnership with LGU of Ginayangan, Quezon to ensure the conservation, protection, development, and sustainability of the area and encourage the individuals to observe the code of conduct while visiting the protected landscape. Now that is the end of the presentation of Group 1. Here we have, thank you for bearing with us. This is Group 1 Cultural Mapping for Natural Resources. Arigato gozaimasu. Sayonara. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Derek Villasoto. So now, this is the time to share your hard work, Group 2. We are in amazement and we are wanting more. Now, let's see the presentation of Group 2 with Ms. Jessa E. Odonio.
Sir Dewey, can play na po. Ohaya gozaimasu. Masu watashi kyo anata no porezati jiseksi odono desi watashi tachi no presentation wo o tanashimi kudasai. Next slide, sir. So, yes. Konnichiwa, ichinen to sabeteni ohayo gozaimasu. Koriga watashi tachi no grupo no presentation. Desi yoneke no kodo no isan wo jeti soru. So welcome to the Group 2A2G Tangible Immovable Heritage. I'm proudly to represent our group. The first category is by Sir Jordan A. Ligarte, the Hospital and Health Facilities of Gumaca District Hospital. Gumaca District Hospital is a public hospital located at Maharlika Highway, Barangay Rosario, Gumaca, Quezon. It has a total land area of 5,685 square meters. Declaration and legislation. Gumaca General Hospital was first established as an emergency hospital under the initiative of ex-Congressman Leon Ginto Jr. as authorized under the national budget of 1957 to 1958 with an initial appropriation of 50,000 pesos for its operation. It was on January 16 when it was formally inaugurated by the Congressman Leon Ginto. For the significance for the historical and social. Historical, an institution that is built, staffed, and equipped for the diagnosis of disease, for treatment, both medical and surgical of the sick and the injured. For the social, the hospital is an integral part of a social medical organization, the function of which is to provide for the population complete health care, both curative and preventive, and whose outpatient services reach out to the family in its home environment. For the category, another heritages from Sir J.L. Camuñez, the San Diego de Alcala Fortress, or the what we so called Castillo or Kutang San Diego. The historical background. San Diego de Alcala Fortress is the only surviving Spanish fortress in Gumaca, Quezon. The three-story fortress is made of adobe with views of Lamon Bay, Alabat Island, and Gumaca Baywalk from its third-floor windows. For the social, the fortress served as a defense from incoming pirate ships during the 18th century, and also to guard the town from marauding pirates attacking from Lamon Bay. It also served as the primary defense of the town against the invading Dutch in the 1700s. There are four constructed by the Spaniards, but only this one in it. It's a well-loved and famous landmark. It is included in the town seal. For the social, the fortress served as a defense from incoming pirate ships during the 18th century. Yes. So the next mapper is Ma'am Lady the Bid. So the name of immovable heritage, the Mermaiden statue of Atimonan, Quezon. Yes, next, Sir Dewey. Historical. In 1645, 5 local fishermen from Atimonan, Quezon reported to Fray Jeronimo de Jesus, a Spanish friar of Atimonan, Quezon, that they saw the mermaids in Lamon Bay. They described the mermaids water spirits with human female upper bodies but with the fish stings. These sightings were shared by other fishermen from Alabat and Gumaca, Quezon. So, the Sirena is a mermaid statue that is probably one of the most famous landmark of province. The statue is called by some as the Sirena ng Atimonan, while others call it Sirena ng Quezon, but to most it refers as the Sirena. Next slide, sir. So now is the Quezon Capitol Building. The Quezon Capitol Building, formerly known as Tayabas, was established in 1578 by two Spanish Franciscan friars, namely Father Juan de Plasencia and Father Diego Oropesa. What is now known as the city of Tayabas was a Muslim village ruled by a local chieftain and elders from 1749 to 1901. It serves as the capital of the province with the same name. After its opening in 1935, the building became an admired government structure in the Philippines. The cutting-edge design, the advanced construction methods, and materials used became the benchmark of the other government structures. The unity between the elegant American neoclassic design and the avant-garde and expressive Art Deco motifs give the capital its distinct personality, which became a source of pride as well as a symbol of success for the province of Tayabas. For the aesthetic, the building was a two-story structure with an American colonial type of architecture, highlighted with a sculpture of an American eagle on its facade, and well, it is a symbolic reminder of the American presence in the province. The primary material is used for its construction were concrete, adobe stones, and wood. The Quezon Capitol building is more than just a piece of architecture. Aside from its intrinsic value, it is a testament of this province's proud heritage and rich history. Next mapper is proudly presented by Rona L. Garcia, the Mount Pinagbanderahan. For the historical, Pinagbanderahan is our historic site that literally means where the flag was hoisted, but it was built in 1939. It was used as a cavalry detachment where American and Japanese flags were hoisted before the Philippine flag reclaimed its proper place in 1946. So the Quezon National Forest Park is a park which is nestled in the famous Sierra Madre mountain range, accessible by a scenic zigzag road that cuts through the forest built during the American period. The forest is one of the oldest protected areas in the Philippines. So for the next is the churches, temples, and places of worship by Sir Dewey E. Doctorero. Our Lady of the Angels Parish Church in Atamanan, Quezon. For the historical, Our Lady of Angel Parish Church was built sometimes in the early 16th century. So the first church was built using wood and stone as the primary material. Ironically, the material used would be the cause of the first destruction of the church. The church was burned to the ground in 1640 when the Dutch tried to invade the Philippines. Atimonan Church was rebuilt in 1643. This time, they add more stone than wood to fortify the church and prevent the same thing from happening. Still, the church burned down in 1648. Atimonan Church was rebuilt again in 1650. This time, stone was used as the primary material. It was said that during this time, the bell tower was twice the height of the present day. So, sadly, the church was destroyed again by an earthquake. The present church was constructed sometime between 1687 and 1700. However, it was seriously damaged by an earthquake in 1937 and worse, bombed during the Second World War, damaging it more. So Atimonan Church and its bell tower were reconstructed with the initiation of Reverend Father Bonifacio Orejola and were finished by the surviving townspeople a few years later. To date, the church has undergone a number of restoration projects. For the aesthetic, Atimonan Church has its colorful interior and red brick exterior. What makes the church more interesting are the numerous life-size statues of the saints and archangels inside and outside of the church. Aside from that, the visitors would never miss out on the Sistine Chapel-like ceiling paintings in the church, which is really eye-catching. Near the front door of the church is the old baptismal room. So for our last mapper is proudly presented by Sir Rogel and Banaubra. It is Our Lady of the Angels Academy in Junior High School building, or the what we so call the Ola. For the historical, Our Lady of the Angels Academy Incorporation is more than 50 years existed in heart and mind of Atimonan parents and youth. May 1962 was the start of the fulfillment of the dreams when Messenger Adelina Imperial, the parish priest of Atimonan, led the groundbreaking of the site of the first building in the presence of the MCSP sisters. For the aesthetic, Our Lady of the Angels Academy and Corporation is the only Catholic school in Atamonan, Quezon. The formation of the aula is holistic and directed toward man's ultimate goal, and it is based on institutional philosophy. Socio-political, Our Lady of Angels Academy INC follow the teaching and doctrines of the Catholic Church. In line with this, the school promote the use of renewable energy sources. For the social and spiritual, the formation of the students and aula from the very start was holistic, intellectual, psycho-emotional, political, moral, and above all, spiritual. So this is the end of our presentation. Our group, Sir J. L. Camoñas, Sir Jordan A. Ligartes, Sir Rogel N. Banaubra, Sir Dewey E. Doctolero, Ma'am May Lady David, Ma'am Jessa A. Odonio, and lastly, Ma'am Rona L. Garcia. Thank you for listening. God bless you.
So we are halfway through with our presentation. The two groups are done and two more to follow. Miss Geraldine Beltran, are you ready? Because you will be the one presenting for group number 3. Group 3, we don't hear your audio. Please turn on the audio, please.
Okay na. All right. I'm so sorry for that. Again, Ohio to everyone. I'm Geraldine Beruturan. In our language, Geraldine Beltran. Today, oh my God, naguguluhan pala. Again, Ohio to everyone. I'm Geraldine Beruturan. In our language, Geraldine Beltran. Today, I'm going to present some of the significant tangible and movable heritage. As to start, there goes the first category, Form 1C, religious object. The name of the object is Replica of Santo Cristo de Burgos. Here are some photos. It was downloaded from this link. It is presented as image. Roman Catholic is the religion or denomination where the object is associated. It was produced during 1717, so today it is 304 years old. St. Francis of Assisi Parish Church or Diocese of Lucena is the owner of the item. It was acquired as gift of King Felipe V to the people of Quezon province. The origin of the devotion to Santo Cristo de Burgos is traced back to its place of origin in Burgos, Spain. The original image of Senor Santo Cristo of Burgos is enshrined in the chapel of Santo Cristo at Burgos Cathedral. The image is a unique carving made of polychrome wood. It has all the human joints, natural hair, and is covered with bovine skin. In the historic town of Sariaya, Quezon, there is a popular shrine that is being flocked by pilgrims for centuries and is still as at present, especially during Lenten season. The parish of St. Francis of Assisi, or better known as the Diocesan Shrine of Santo Cristo de Burgos, where a strikingly beautiful image of the crucified Christ is venerated in Sariaya for centuries, and numerous miracles were reported through his help that garnered a great number of devotees since his arrival in 1700s. The image of Santo Cristo de Burgos arrived in the country in 1717, together with the miraculous image of Nuestra Señora de los Desamparados, now venerated in Santa Ana, Manila. The image was a gift of King Felipe V to the people of Quezon province and to the Franciscans who administered the province at that time. As for the significance, numerous miracles were attributed through the help of Santo Cristo de Burgos, one of which took place sometime in 1743, when the town site was destroyed by natural disasters and by Muslim invasion, which leveled the town to the ground. The image of Santo Cristo de Burgos remained unscathed, which they considered a miracle. The surviving residents wrapped the image in white cloth and then carried it further up Mount Banahaw slopes to find a much more suitable place to build a community. Comparative criteria. This replica of Santo Cristo de Burgos was given by the King of Spain to the Quezonian and to the Franciscan missionaries in the town of Sariaya. No other replica can be found in the province of Quezon except this century-old image from Spain. As of now, the physical condition of the item is yellowing, have some stains, already fading, and has some brown spots. The feet of Santo Cristo de Burgos has been fading due to several touches of the devotees. Like what I've mentioned, it was mapped by Sir Dennis S. Agudo. Now let's proceed to the next form, Form 1D, which is about works of commercial or industrial arts, and mapped by truly yours, Geraldine Beltran. The name of object is known as Yaring Nilala, or made from weaving. Here are some photos. I have downloaded this from Sariayana's Facebook page. It was made out of buri or buli. It was produced estimatedly during 1900s. So estimated age, it is more than or over 100 years. The owners are these associations: Kalahi Multipurpose Cooperative Sariaya, Sampaloc Weavers Association Sampaloc, Gat-Uban Weavers Association in Mauban. It was inherited from ancestors and still practicing up to this date. Yaring Nilala, or made from weaving, is from buri or buli. It is used to produce products such as hats and bags, which are usually bought by the tourists who visit the place and make these as pasalubong. These items vary from coin purse and wallets to bags, mats, and baskets. These items also vary in color and in design. Yaring Nilala is a traditional art craft passed on to many generations that has been kept strong and alive for over 100 years in the history of its practice. It started as a home-based hobby, but is now known as a common livelihood and a source of income for the women of Sariaya, Quezon province. The continuous progress and opportunities given by the bully caused the rise of the associations that I have mentioned earlier. These associations were all established for women empowerment. As for the significance, there goes historical. Historically speaking, weaving originated during pre-colonial times. This unique industry has been handed down from one generation to the other. This industry is already part of the identity of the inhabitants of Sariaya, Quezon province. Buri weaving should continually be valued because of its strong historical birth. Aesthetic significance, buri products are authentic and simply beautiful, but more importantly, this represent the native culture of the Filipinos. Buri weaving rekindled the spirit of consciousness among the majority of the Sariayahin public for preservation and promotion. It plays a significant role in the livelihood of the women of Sariaya, Quezon. It showed a sustainable impact on the weaver's life. It represented the values of resiliency to hardships, passion to craftsmanship, and sense of production and trade. As for the comparative criteria, provenance, one of the main centers of production of buri is the town of Sariaya, which is known to have wide areas of buri palm plantation. The finished products from the buri fibers are in demand in both local and international market. Items produced are hand-woven and hand-spun using buri fibers mixed with man-made elements, which makes the products unique. The fruit of the buri tree is a cheap source of food and a good source of starch. It is served as snack and is ready to eat. The mid-crib can be used into shoes, stick broom, or for weaving. The trunk can be used as firewood and as wood frames into making nipa huts. It can also be used as temporary aqueduct or for irrigation. The tree helps prevent soil erosion and maintain the ecological balance of the forest. Inhabitants of Sariaya, Quezon were continually practicing buri weaving up to this date and is considered as one of their sources of income. When it comes to making buri, it was a very long process. There goes removing the leaves, then pag-aakak or process of removing the leaves, remove the ting-ting. That is the only issue for this item. So conservation measures. Despite the fact that buri is abundant in Sariaya, it still needs to be protected by the weavers and most importantly, by the residents and its local government. And also, to preserve this practice, the associations that I have mentioned continuously conducting seminars and trainings about buri weaving. Again, it was backed by yours truly. Now let's have the third, the Form 1E about artwork. It was mapped by Ma'am Mayet Panopio. Andes, or stand for the statues of saints. It is made out of carving. Artist Anselmo de Lara is a Filipino. The date it was created is not specified, but the informants told that the original Andas is more than 100 years old. Owner, collector, Miss Flora Cervantes, but the previous and current owner of the item is the Sguera family. It was made as a support of the statue of Santa Veronica. It is made of wood, varnish, and screws. It is 53 by 85 by 70 centimeters. Edition from original, 4 out of 10 edition. Andas, or a stand of the saint for the statue of Santa Veronica of Sguera family, is located at Barangay Central, Plaridel, Quezon. The original Andas was built as a stand of Saint Veronica more than 100 years ago. The picture above was the 4th edition of the original, according to the granddaughter of Flora Cervantes, Mrs. Rosario B. Genton. It was built and carved by the late Anselmo de Lara, who also a resident of Plaridel, Quezon. It was made by a narrow wood collected by the ancestors. It was preserved by the grandchildren. The family decided to build an andas to make the saint safely placed and used during the procession every Black Friday as a tradition of the Christian Church. Spiritual significance. Andas has a spiritual value to the family. Their devotion to Santa Veronica tells them that his Andas also had a significance to the family. Since they have the strong faith, they believe that it was the source of all the blessings that they have. Just like the saint placed in here, without the Andas, Saint Veronica was damaged due to unsafe stand of it alone. Their beliefs made the family still strong and united, whatever challenges they face. Andas had some holes and creases in its physical condition as of now. These were because of the length of time since it was built, also due to the weight of the saint. Sometimes during the procession, it was accidentally damaged due to the circumstances as it is used. As for the threats, typhoon, flood, fire. It is in the care of the family as Guerra. However, it is placed in the house of the siblings of Isabel Panopio. She was the granddaughter of Flora Cervantes. And now, since she was gone 11 years ago, her daughter, Rosario P. Genton, Flora Cervantes' granddaughter, have the immediate access to the Andas of the saint. She is now the one who provide and care and conserve for the saint and the Andas. It is preserved by applying paint and varnish yearly, as it is evident in its physical appearance that it is still shiny and strong. Again, it was mapped by Ma'am Mayet S. Panopio. Lastly, the Form 1E, which is about archival holdings. It was mapped by Sir Yves Kenneth Regidor. Title of records, 1942 press photo, the zigzag road that connects Lucena and Atimonan. Here are the photos, the zigzag road that connects Lucena to Atimonan. Kuha sa link, na yan po. It was presented as photographs because it was just downloaded from the given link that I have projected earlier. Date of record, 1942. Volume or size of the record, 9.25 by 6.75 inches. Arrangement is not applicable. Historic images outlet is the office or creator. He contacted, Sir Ives contacted Nestler Luis C. Almagro. It has some seals. Ang litrato nakuha noong 1942 press photo, the zigzag road that connects Lucena and Atimonan, ay screenshot lamang dahil sa ito'y nagkakalaga ng $11 sa link na https://outlet na historicimages.com/product/RSD59161. Mapapansin sa larawan ng mga letra na historic images at iba pang mga larawan na nagpapahiwatig na ito ay kanilang pagmamay-ari. Ang Old Zigzag Road ay nagsisilbing isang gateway sa pagitan ng Hilagang Quezon at Timog ng Pilipinas. Ito ay isa sa mga pinakamapanganib na kalsada ng bansa. Karamihan sa mga driver ay nangangamba sa paglalakbay sa daang ito. Maaari itong maging isang pakikipagsapalaran para sa ilan, ngunit nadadala ito ng mga elemento ng peligro. Tinawag ng mga lokal dito ang kalsadang ito, Bitukan Manok. Ang dahilan sa likod ng pangalang ito ay nakakahimok dahil naniniwala mga lokal na kalsadang ito ay may katulad na istruktura sa bitukan ng manok. Ang pangalan mismo ay nagpapahiwatig kung gaano mapanganib ang landas, pag-aakala may nakakaintindi ng Filipino. Historical significance. Nagsisilbi itong makasaysayan sapagkat ito ay isang matagal na daan at nagpapakita ng maraming kapunuan sa paligid ng daan. Makikita sa larawan ng pagkamalikhain at pagmamahal sa kalikasan ng mga taga-Quezon. Makikita mo habang dumadaan ka sa daan ng Bitukang Manok ang mga matataas at malalaking punong kahoy, mga ibon na humuhuni na nagpapahiwatig ng kagandahan ng kagubatan na nasa tabi ng dagat, na nasa tabi ng daan ng Bitukang Manok. Makikita rin sa larawan na isang daan na may katagalan na nagiging daan sa pakikipagkalakalan at pagbebenta ng mga produkto sa karatig bayan. Dahil dito, umunlad ang bayan ng Atimonan at ito ay nagsilbi ring tourist attraction ng mga siklista, motorist at mga dayuhan. Makikita sa larawan na nagpapakita ng Bitukang Manok noong 19 ng isang kasaysayan na nakagawa mga Quezonian na isang daan sa gilid ng isang bundok. Makikita rin na kahit gumawa sila ng daan ay pinananatili pa rin nila ang kabundok at mga hayop na nakatira dito. Naging isang malaking kontribusyon sa pagunlad ng bayan ng Atimonan. Makikita ang pagdaan ng mga sasakyan dito ng mga product sa ibang bayan upang makipagkalakalan o ipagbenta. Ang paglakas ng turismo sa bayan ng Atimonan ay isa sa mga kontribusyon ng daan na dinadayo para makita ang kagandahan ng lugar at ng iba pang mga tanawin sa park. Watermark. As for the conservation status. Dahil sa ang mananaliksik ay kumuha lamang sa internet ng larawan na ito, makikita ang watermark sa larawan. Kinakailangan ng kabayaran ng $11 para makakuha ng soft copy sa larawan na sa link na pinagkunan ng mananaliksik. Issues or challenges. Ang isang unang hamon ng paghahanap ng original na larawan sa internet at mga aklatan sa probinsya. Ngunit ito ay ginagawa upang maiwasan ang pagpapareproduce ng orihinal na kuha ng larawan. Para sa mananaliksik, ay dapat ito ay magkaroon ng isang replika sa munisipyo upang makita ang mga Timonanin at mga dayuhan ang isang history na isang bitukang manok. Dahil hindi alam ng mananaliksik kung nasaan ang original na kopya ng 1924 press photo, The Zigzag Road that connects Lucena at Atimonan, ay hindi ito maaaring magkomento tungkol sa mahakbang sa pag-iingat na kinuha mula sa pamayanan, palalawigan at pambansa. Again, it was mapped by Sir Ives Van Kenneth M. Regidor. And that ends my presentation.
So thank you, Ma'am Beltran.
Arigato gozaimasu rin po, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And now the final group is waving. Their presentation will be no longer in waiting. Miss Maria Cecilia Itarusan will be the one presenting.
Ohayo, konnichiwa, mina, watashi wa Cecil des. So, good morning, everyone. So, the following presentation will be from Group 4, a collaborative effort from Group 4 about intangible heritage. So, our topic consists of NCCA 4A, Form 4A, oral traditions, 4V, performing arts, 4C, social practices, 4D, knowledge and practice concerning nature, 4F, traditional craftsmanship. Our group also had personalities, institutions, and LGU programs. So our coverage area are the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Congressional District of Quezon Province. So let's start. So let us have the Form 4A oral traditions. Our mapper is Mr. Arvin Agudo. So, Inagta Alabat language. The Alabat Agta people live only on the island of Alabat in Quezon province, and a small area is Giniangan in mainland Luzon. They are one of the original Negrito settlers in the entire Philippines. They belong to the Aita people classification, but have distinct language and belief systems unique to their own culture and heritage. So, socioeconomic significance. In 2010, UNESCO released its third world volume of endangered languages in the world, where 3 critically endangered languages were in the Philippines. And one of these languages in the Alabat Island, the Agtar language, which has an estimated speaker of 30 people in the year 2000. The language was classified as critically endangered, meaning the youngest speakers are grandparents and older, and they speak the language partially and infrequently and hardly pass the language to their children and grandchildren anymore. If the remaining 30 people do not pass their native language to the next generation of Alabat, Agta people, their indigenous language will be extinct within a period of 1 to 2 decades. 4B, Performing Arts. Our mapper is yours truly, Maria Cecilia Itarusan. Cambodian Street Dancing, or the Cambodian Festival in Dolores, Quezon. Cambodian to most is just basaan or bathing, but to the deepest essence of the word, it is the ceremony of acceptance of guests from other places who come to present themselves with gift of friendships and the proposal of unity. This celebration is usually based on culture and spiritual traditions of the people. The belief of petition, thanksgiving, blessings from the Almighty are incorporated in the festival. Spiritual significance. People from other places come to pray in the town church, the center for pilgrimage, during Lent and September. The theme of the festival is usually based on spiritual traditions of the people. The belief of petition, thanksgiving, blessings from the Almighty are always incorporated in the festival. Its historical significance. The festival became the gateway to the strengthening of brotherhood as a nation through cultural tradition. The people are hospitable and friendly. They practice simple life devoted to the family.
Aesthetic significance. Dolores is not about a place. Festival celebrates in a festive manner, wearing colorful costumes and festive music. This is one of the reasons why this festival was visited by people from other places. Competition on colorful street attire of the participants. The social significance. The deepest essence of the festival is the ceremony of acceptance of guests from other places who come to present themselves with gift of friendship and the proposal of unity. The next form is the social practice. Our mapper is Mr. Jonel P. Celeste. The Candle Festival of Candelaria, Quezon. The Candle Festival is celebrated from January 31 to February 2 in order to reflect the devotion of the people of Candelaria in Nuestra Señora de los Candelaria. This is also known as Candlemas Virgin. The traditional candle festival is occasionally performed within the municipality of Candelaria, Quezon, from the 2nd district of Quezon province. But the candle feast street dance called Turumba is done on the streets of Poblacion on the feast day of February 1. This activity is done annually, even during pandemic. There is a special Turumba done with compliance to AITF guidelines. People always look forward to celebrating this, being one of the highlights of the week-long celebration. So its aesthetic significance. The colorful celebration of the Candle Festival during night display gives the town a beautiful, unique, and vibrant festivity which also gives a remarkable happenings to visitors, tourists, and residents every year. The social significance is that with this kind of activity, the people learn how to collaborate to the objectives of the local government and provide contribution for the development of the culture in the town. The spiritual significance is celebrating Candle Festival leads the people of the town to have a strong faith to Nuestra Señora de los Candelaria and to continuously worship and do good things in their everyday living. So our next form, the 4D, is about knowledge and practice concerning nature. Our mapper is Mr. Mark Andrew Merle. The traditional systems, rituals, and beliefs. Folk medicine refers to traditional healing practices anchored on cultural beliefs of body, physiology, and health preservation. Reflective of indigenous heritage, it fosters a better understanding of health and disease, healthcare systems, and biocultural adaptation. In the Philippines, Quiapo is a well-known site for folk medicine services, cultural diversity, religious practices, and economic activities. Here in Atimonan, Quezon, few people practice traditional healing and practices. They help people who are sick and who have no enough money. The significance is the spiritual significance because with this traditional healing, the faith of the person increase and they believe that they will be healed. The next one is the 4E, which is the traditional craftsmanship. Our mapper is Miss Michi Grace Valdez. Boat making is done at the house of Mr. Laurel in Atimonan, Quezon. Their place is not that big, but the people in the community trust their works. It is 10 kilometers away from the town proper. Mr. Laurel and family started making boats the time it was passed on to them by their grandparents. Through the skills and expertise of his grandfather in making boats, they became known on making strong boats. The people who want to have their own boats do not hesitate to come to them to build their boats. For them, boat making is not only the work and source of living, but also it gives them happiness, realizing that the tradition of their family is still alive and being passed on. Its significances, historical. It is historically significant as it shows how the rule of boats has changed from a functional source of living item to a form of art and culture. On the other hand, the social or spiritual is this kind of art and heritage is socially significant because it is meaningful and useful to individuals and to society as a whole. People tend to attract and visit to ride in their boats because of its design and appearance. Boat making has such a big impact not only in our food, but also in terms of our economy, as it becomes a source of living to most people in the community and to the country as well. By that, we may earn money from this traditional craftsmanship, which is boat making, where Laurel family gets their main income. Boat making is done through the use of woods. Here, creativity and artistry is shown in a way that the design is appealing to the eyes of the passengers and fishers. Besides, boat making is one of the traditional craftsmanship of the Filipinos even in the pre-colonial period. We cannot deny the boats also upholds arts for our culture. The next is the institution from District 2. Our mapper is Miss Salvi J. Hossein. It is a Catholic institution of learning that has for years contributed to the church and the larger community persons of noble identities. It's a school that aims to give its best to the community and bring the best out of it. So St. Joseph Academy is also believed that education is a total harmonious development of the physical, mental, moral, and spiritual faculties of everybody. Hence, it's the school holistic educational approach. This website is expected to introduce you to that kind of educational system and style that comes uniquely from a Josephinian community in cooperation with your family. St. Joseph Academy of Sariaya, Quezon, formerly known as St. Joseph's Academy, is a Catholic school under the direction of the Franciscan Missionaries of Mary, or the FMM, an international religious institute of women founded in 1877 by a French woman, Hélène de Chapupin, better known by her religious name, Mother Mary of the Passion. Her missionaries first came to the Philippines in 1912 to help in the work of evangelization and the development of the Filipino youth. In the year 1921, the bishop of the Diocese of Lipa, of which Sariaya was a part, extended his invitation to the Franciscan Missionaries of Mary to open a school for girls in Sariaya. In response, 7 FMM sisters were sent to establish St. Joseph's Academy on March 17, 1921. Our next is personalities from District 2. Our mapper is Mr. Rain J. D. Uri. So, the Nasser Lubay is a visual artist based in Manila, Philippines. He was born in 1982 in Candelaria, Quezon. In the year 2009, he won second place in the Celestes International Art Prize in Berlin, Germany. He is one of the chosen of young ambassadors of Jollibee that represents arts. He was also shortlisted in Celeste 2010 Digital Graphics and a finalist in Kuala Lumpur Design Week 2009. His art is an abstraction of captured moments fused in a mix of pop, psychedelic, surreal, and fantasies. His visual composition starts from a flow in his hand ferging into biotic, organic, and geometric outcomes. He meticulously stroked his vivid colors with a dimensional effect on the artworks. Its social significance. His art is marked by a rich sense for color and a dense imagination. With Nursery of Curiosities, the title of his first solo exhibition, he deepened his research into the theme of cosmic germination and enriched his positive inventiveness with hints of fear and horror. His portraits are remarkable and demonstrate his ability to expand his grammar to a purely figurative world. Socioeconomic significance. He is a storyteller who narrates through his artworks using all the colors of the world. His works portray the remarkable feeling of a moment, a point in space and time that becomes extraordinary due to its lack of permanence. Institutions from District 3. Our mapper is Mr. Armando B. Florante. St. Andrew the Apostle Parish. It is believed that the first parochial church was built in San Andres in the time of Timoteo Pumarada. The church was then served as campanario of church according to research. The first keeper and the leader of the divine gathering was Timoteo Pomarada, who then called Pari-Parian or the acting priest. Timoteo Pomarada was the one who donated the first bell in San Andres in the year 1966, in the time of Reverend P. Eduardo I. Eleazar, a permanent priest of the church. At first, the church served as a convent and lately became a home economist room to where San Andres Central Elementary School located today. The church has been rebuilt by Reverend P. Celso Ibarreto in the year 1995, and in 2019, it was also reconstructed with the help of leaders of the church headed by Reverend P. Renanti B. Malimata. G. Owen B. Montero, President PPC, Honorable Attorney Juban T. Lim, Municipal Mayor, and the Member of Municipal Councilors. Personalities for District 3. Our mapper, Miss Jenny Ricarte, Sister. Saberola, Bernardo Tolentino Saberola, who is standing at the center, was the first Makalilongin graduate of Philippine Military Academy in Baguio City after the World War II. He was the eldest among 6 children of Eusebia Tolentino and Paulino Saberola. After Second World War II, he went to Baguio City and studied at Philippine Military Academy. That he was the first Makalilongin graduated from that academy. His wife was Agida Vergara of Apalet, Pampanga, a head nurse of Zamboanga Hospital, and they have 3 children. Because of his love to his town, he went back to Makalelon, Quezon. The Makalilongin welcomed him by band. The reason of his return was to help his fellow men and relatives. He gave opportunity to the poor to finish their study. Because of him, some Makalilongin became midwife and district supervisor. He inspired others to study and bring hope. Our next is
Hello
institution
po,
from
excuse
District
po.
4. Our
It's
mapper, is...
Hello po, Ma'am Cecil. Good morning
Hello,
po.
sir.
Sorry to interrupt po, pero we need to move on and proceed with the next
Okay.
part of the program. Thank you po.
So,
Banggitin mo na lang po ma'am yung mga last na
okay. So, the next is the OLA.
and lastly.
It is build up a community where everyone has respect and concern for one another, where the
Okay na po.
learners are helped to be ready.
Last
So,
one.
the next one is from Mapper, Gian Paulo and Lagos.
Okay.
The Felix Alpay Icaparos from Alabat, Quezon. And the LGU programs from District 3. Our mapper is Fritz G. Yukamba. It is all about the programs of the San Narciso, practices about Centurion mask making. So this is our group 4. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And after we have witnessed each group presentation, this is now the moment allotted for the comments, suggestion, and recommendation of our guest validators. Let us mince on every fiber of useful and meaningful words that we are going to hear. It could be helpful in our future dealings on matter related to this. Let us begin with our guest validator. Let us start with Ma'am Pakturanan.
Good morning, everyone. Am I heard na po ba? Yes po.
Yes, Ma'am, loud and...
Thank you. I am sorry I would not be able to have my video because medyo unstable po ang aking internet connection. So please bear with me po. Congratulations everyone and thank you for choosing me as one of your validators. I am very much overwhelmed po sa napakarami po ng mga present ninyo at napaka-rich po nito ng inyong presentation. It's as if I was able not to make pasyal, no? Quezon, nadadaanan ko lang siya sa totoo lang, pero ngayon excited na po akong mamasyal dahil po ipinasyal niyo po talaga ako sa buong Quezon and thank you so much for this opportunity po. Kumusta po ang ating mga cultural mappers? I am sure na after po ng inyong activity ng cultural mapping, you are now looking into this tangible and intangible treasures differently. Ano po? Hindi na siya isang ordinaryong lumang building na lamang sa inyo. Ano po, nag-iba na ba ang inyong mga pananaw? Sapagkat hindi na siya lumang building, kundi isa na siyang building, isa na siyang simbahan, na may iba't ibang storya. It has now its stories of struggles. Ano po? It has now bears its stories of your culture. No? Ano po? Tingnan lang po natin. Halimbawa, I was so touched with the Our Lady of Angels as to its struggles. Kung ilang beses, ilang sunog, ilang earthquakes po ang naranasan niya. At looking forward po ako to hear why the people still would fight for its reconstruction. Ano po? I'm sure there are these stories na nagko-contribute sa culture. I would just like to put emphasis po doon sa I would request the teacher or you as students to please po present this to your local government units sa inyong community, sa inyong city halls, para po magiging treasure ito because this is a great treasure. And I hope that this could form part of your local government's history para po ma-access po ito. Tulad na lang po, let us take an example to the Bitukang Manok image. Ano po, na hanggang sa ngayon I hope you could take access into it na. Or you could... Yes po. Okay, you could give this recommendation to your local government units po para magkaroon na po sila ng sarili nilang image on this. Ano po, para ma-access ito. And congratulations everyone. Napaka-rich po ng ibinigay ninyo sa amin, especially the group na-amaze po ako sa group na may mga stories po. So this could be form part of your local government treasures na para ma-access ng mga susunod na henerasyon, para ma-access ng mga susunod na students pa to acquire naman the stories behind all this, na tulad na nga lang po ng binanggit ko, yung Our Lady of Angels, kung bakit pinilit pa rin ng mga locals doon na itayo doon at hindi po sila nawala ng pag-asa. This could mean something. Ano po? And the understanding of our culture is a great step towards a successful and harmonious living ng mga lokal. At mas lalo nating makikilala ang ating mga sarili, nakikilala natin ang komunidad, mas lalo po tayong uunlad. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mom Jasmine V. Pacturanan. And adding to that will be coming from Mrs. Charlene P. Anda.
Good morning po sa lahat. Una po, thank you for the opportunity to be one of the validators in your community activity. I had such a great time. Na-reminisce ko yung times na nasa, kami, Letran for Cultural Education. So, napakaganda po ng presentation. So, congratulations po. So, lang po ito, reminder, lagi lang po nating tandaan, dahil pandemic po ngayon, so hindi po tayo makapag, yung first step po natin, ang first step po natin ay makipag-coordinate sa ating LGU, So siguro, pag po maganda na ang ating panahon, wala na po tayong pandemic. So lahat po ng ating ni-present today ay po pwede po nating idulog sa ating local government unit. Nandyan po si Sir Nestle.
Graduation namin ngayon.
Cultural mapping po isang ongoing process. So ito po ay magbe-benefits po sa ating community. So natutuwa po ako kay thank you po Prof. Nobleza for this course. So ito po talaga ay kinakailangan ng ating community para po sa pag-restore ng ating mga historical landmarks, places, kahit po yung ating mga culture, So magkakaibang bayan, magkakaibang culture. So sobrang yaman po ng culture ng Philippines. So congratulations po. And sana po after pandemic, maituloy po natin ito. Mas best po kung marami tayong ma-interview na locals. Good morning po. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am. And lastly, from the Tourism Head of Atimonan Local Government Unit, Mr. Nesler Lowe C. Almagro. Sir Nesler.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Ayun. Wait lang po. Ayun. So, good morning po. Thank you for this opportunity na makasama sa ganitong mga activities. It's such a ray of light that there are people or group of people or there are students and professors like you, sir, na nagbibigay ng time for cultural mapping. We have to accept that the cultural works in Quezon, more or less, I can say in Atimonan, medyo napapabayaan, and that's the reason why medyo naghahabol po kami dito. Pero at the end of the day, it's such a great opportunity being part of this activity nga po. But I think kasi kami sa tourism office, we have our own cultural mapping na prescribed ng NCCA, and nakikita ko po na medyo talaga magkaparehas or magiging magkatulong po yung ginawa ninyo and what we are doing in the office. Actually, ang partner po namin sa cultural mapping namin is the DepEd. I think kasama din si Ma'am Anda doon. Siguro may mga comments lang din po ako that we can improve para po mas maging malaking tulong siya sa mga LGUs. Good thing that the presentations is coming from the different municipalities in Quezon. Pero siguro, the Lamon Bay part, since encompassing yung presentation, it should have been nakipag-collaborate sa mga municipalities na nakakasako po dito para mas intensive po yung mga info. But nevertheless, it's a good presentation. And then I think dun sa story of a mermaid, if you could have asked or approached our office, we could have shared with you another folk tale na available that there are so many people asking why the mermaid is not beautiful, is not smiling. It's because there's a folk tale that that mermaid is waiting for his partner na bumalik and her partner na bumalik, and the partner died in a war. So isa yun sa mga folk tales po na nakatago dito. And then comment lang din, may mga iba po tayong researchers, like for example, a certain building asking for aesthetics but hindi napakita yung aesthetics ng totoong building dun sa material po niya. So mas iba yung natackle niya, which I think it should be better if kung saan ba siya gawa, ano yung color, ano yung form, or saan ba inspired yung architectural designs. So isa pa pong correction, I don't know, pero siguro may mali sa internet, but Zigzag Road is a connector between Atimonan and Pagbilao. And I think the picture shown earlier is part of Pagbilao and not Atimonan. Another one po, sorry for this, but we have to correct, no? You pronounce the Festival of Dolores Quezon as Hambuhan. J is pronounced as letter H. And then, siguro para lang din po sa ating lahat for the improvement, good thing that you have the visuals or the presentation, but you use presentation as a visual support. So make it more visual, you add more photos. Siguro kung yung mga binabasa po ng mga presenter natin, better if you can just put it sa note at wala na sa presentation, so that mas enticing tsaka mas makakakuha siya ng attention dun sa mga listeners and sa audience. And just so in case po hindi nyo mapigilan na may mga text heavy na slides, please make it up unto 8 lines only. Kasi yun lang po yung kayang i-grasp ng mga listeners or ng viewers natin, na 8 lines lang yung mga yung mga words. So yun lang po, salamat. Medyo maraming comment pero I think makakatulong naman po sa ating lahat.
So thank you, Sir Nestler. So that was a worthy comments from our guest validators, and we learned from that. Okay, so after some fruitful ideas and concept that we gain, I am hoping that we are better than the previous and should keep on getting better and better. We thank our guest validators for gracing our program today. And so as we are nearing the commencement of our activity, it is about time to devote our attention to the essence of our undertaking. A message from our EdM02 course professor, Dr. Randy T. Noblesa. A virtual applause. Sir Randy. Sir Randy, are you still around? Or maybe we have lost the connection, or your connection rather. Okay, group mates, what shall we do? Are we going to move on to the next?
Siguro po, tapos yun na lang natin.
Okay, so moving on, we will go back to Sir Randy later. So before we end up this culmination of what we have learned, let us look back or take an imaginary glimpse of what we have had in the last 4 weeks of our endeavors in a synthesis prepared for us by Mr. Gian Paulo and Lagos.
Okay, naririnig po ba ako?
Yes, sir.
Okay po. So, this is my synthesis for our activity. Minasan Ohio gozaimasu, especially to our course professor, Dr. Randy T. Nobleza, and to all the validators. But before we proceed to our synthesis, I would like to congratulate everyone for the outstanding presentation. To sum up our activity for today, we students of MAED and EDD proved that Quezon province is one of the best provinces in our country that is rich in different natural resources and even our culture. In this activity, we showcase the different landforms that is very captivating and even our flora and fauna that can only be seen in our province. Different government structures, gabaldons, etc. that is fortified by time and became part of our history. Here in Quezon, we have different churches that is full of story, the relics and the religious images that portrays the strong faith of every Quezonian. Different beliefs and tradition makes the Quezon colorful because of its wide influence to the life of every Quezonian. Lastly, the personalities and institutions that gives us a huge chunk to our culture because those personalities that we include are are the ones who give us honor and pride with their kind heart to help the community. And for the institution, these are the places mold our career and personality and beliefs that made us successful not just in our career, but in our whole being. That reflected as a true Quezonian. Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Gian. So let us now go back again to the message to be delivered by our course professor, Dr. Randy T. Nobleza. Perhaps Sir Randy has lost his connection. And so, what shall we do, sir? Leaders from 4 groups?
Siguro po i-communicate muna po natin si Sir Ran.
Okay, sir. And so while we are waiting, can someone play a video presentation?
I guess, Sir Ryan, while we are waiting for Dr. Randy, let us present the certificate for our guest validators.
Okay, Sir Ronan, take your time.
May I request Ma'am Geraldine Beltran?
Permission to speak po.
Okay, once again, good morning to everyone. So let us have the awarding of certificate to our guest validators. So let me first read the content of the certificate. Republic of the Philippines, Marinduque State College, School of Graduate Education and Professional Studies, Panfilo M. Manguera, Senior Road, Barangay Tanza, Boac, Marinduque. Certificate of recognition is hereby presented to as validator during the virtual culminating activity of the course EdM02, Advanced Foreign Language 2, with the activity title Jishu to Chizu, Knowing Your Culture, given this 17th day of July 2021 via Zoom meeting, signed by Ranity Nobleza, Doctor of Philosophy, Course Professor, EdM02 Advanced Foreign Language 2. This certificate of recognition is hereby presented to Mr. Nestler Luis C. Almagro. Thank you very much, sir. Another certificate of recognition is hereby presented to Mrs. Charlene P. Anda. Same citation, same signatory. Thank you very much, Ma'am Anda. And finally, the certificate of recognition is hereby presented to Mrs. Jasmine V. Facturanan. Same citation, same signatory. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Beltran.
Maybe Sir Randy is not able to connect. Okay, so...
Sir, hindi pa po siya nagre-reply. Pero connected naman po siya.
Permission to speak po.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Meron pa po kasi kami from EQC. Kami po ay supposedly will be starting at 10:30. So can we start na po?
Okay,
Okay
so...
po.
With the permission from the group, Sir Gian?
Okay po, sir.
Yes po. Go on po.
Okay, so please go on, sir. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today marks the final classes of our subject here in Advanced Nihongo, but today also marks the start of knowing more of our own culture and identity. So having said that, my classmates, guests, and to our teacher, and of course, to our beloved guest speaker for today, it is a huge honor for us to welcome you all for the SEMA presentation of Advanced Nihongo Class Summer 2020 to 2021. So to formally start our program, our technical team will be playing the national anthem of the Philippines, followed by the invocation, opening remarks, and the introduction of our beloved guest validator.
Please dispense with the other parts of the program so you can proceed to the part.
Okay, so can we have the opening remarks with Miss Jali Ann Villamarso, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Okay po. So, to Dr. Randy Tino Bleza, our guest speakers, fellow classmates and educators, and especially our guests, good morning. In behalf of my EDM02 classmates, it is with great honor and pleasure that I welcome you to the EDM02 Advanced Foreign Language, Jisu to Chizu, Knowing Your Own Culture. Truly, we are blessed to have this kind of activity. May our experiences in mapping cultural heritage leads us to the realization that we have a rich culture and heritage which reflects our values, our beliefs, and aspirations. Let us not stop to promote the conservation of the heritage as it provides a sense of identity for us Filipinos. Hopefully, we can pass this legacy from our past to the future generations, especially now that we live in a changing world. Again, good morning and be safe.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ma'am Jelly and Villamarso, for that wonderful opening remarks. So this time, may I call on Miss Karen Bianco for the introduction of our speaker validator.
Okay, good morning to all. It is my honor to present to you our guest speaker for today. He is a graduate of BS Zoology at the Far Eastern University, municipal councilor for 12 years, and 2 years senior administrative officer of Sampaloc, Quezon, 2 years chief administrative officer of Lokban, Quezon, and a founder of Lokban Historical Society and Lokban Artists Guild. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give our virtual applause to our guest speaker, Mr. Cornelio Arañeses.
Good morning, everybody. Naririnig po kaya ako?
Yes, sir. Naririnig po namin.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I'm very thankful na ako naging part ng presentation ng Marinduque State College. And I'm very much willing to share my knowledge, my experiences about cultural mapping, as well as the preservation and conservation of our culture, lalo na higit sa Quezon. Now, ang nais ko sanang share sa inyo, lalo tigit sa mga katulad yung mga kabataan, mga estudyante, ay is the importance of giving importance to past, lalo tigit yung mga bagay na naging bahagi ng ating kasaysayan. Alam po ninyo nung natatandaan ko nung ako grade 6, as well as nung ako'y high school, ako ay mahilig mag-collect ng mga issues sa tabloid. It's all about the events that happens in the past. Katulad po nung I remember those times na naghahanap lagi ako ng tabloid at meron dong isang portion na nakalagay doon kung halimbawa kung anong date ngayon, and then nakalagay doon ang importance nung pangyayari sometime during the past, no? So kinakat ko po siya, and then nung marami na ako nakolekta, ikonompile ko siya when I was in second year high school, as well as yung mga health tips, no? So every time na makakakita ko ng mga kakaiba o kaya ay something that has significance, ay lagi ko po yung kinakat and then ikinocompile ko. Hindi ko alam kung ano ang reason kung bakit ginagawa ko yun. But then later on, itong lately lamang po na makita ko na very important pala yung ginawa ko during the time. At nung nakapagtayo po kami ng museum, nakita ko ulit yung aking compilation at doon ko nasabi na kaya pala ako'y mahilig magkolekta ng ganito ay meron palang purpose ito na ginagawa ko. At siguro ay importanteng ipagpatuloy ko ito kahit wala nang lumalabas nung article na yon sa mga tabloid ngayon. So what I mean is, yung pong mga bagay na nangyayari during the past ay hindi na natin kayang ibalik. Lagi ko lang sinasabi pag ako ay naimbitahan po, lagi ko pinapaalala lalo tigit sa mga kabataan na ang tao ay nahahati sa tatlong dimension. Alam po naman natin yan, ano? The past, the present, and then the future. So, the present ay ating ginagawa ng paraan. The future ay ating pinaghahandaan. Subalit pagdating po sa past, wala na tayong ibang pwedeng gawin dyan kundi idokumento at pahalagahan. Kaya sabi ko napaka-importante po ng magkaroon ng preservation, no? At ito po yung naging advocacy na inyong lingkod na encourage hindi lamang po ang Lukban kundi ang ibang mga bayan pa lalo tigit sa lalawigan ng Quezon na matutuhan nating i-preserve kung ano yung mga nakaraan natin ng bawat bayan sa ating lalawigan. Sapagkat ako pinaniniwala na ang lahat ng bayan sa lalawigan ng Quezon ay magkakaugnay, no? Katulad po halimbawa dito sa amin sa bayan ng Lukban, sinasabi na ang nagtatag daw ng Lukban ay mga sinaunang tao mula sa Mahihai, Laguna. Since ang Mahihai ay mas matanda sa bayan ng Lukban. At ang Lukban po ang pinakatabi o pinakang katabihang bayan dito sa lalawigan ng Quezon kasunod ng Laguna, no? At in one of my researches, I have found a book. I think it is entitled about Mahihai, Laguna. And I found one page na naglalaman po siya ng old map of Laguna circa 1800 na nakita ko doon na ang bayan ng Lukban ay kasama doon sa mapa ng Laguna. So, aking pinag-aralan at talaga pala na sabi nga nila ay ito isinama ang bayan ng Lukban sa mapa ng Laguna way back 1800s. At gayon din na ang Laguna de Bay o itong Laguna Lake, ang tubig o primary water na pinanggagalingan ng Laguna Lake ay dito po sa Banahaw sa Lukban, no? Kaya sabi ko ay merong relasyon kami. And then at the same time po, ang ibang mga bayan katulad ng magkakalapit na bayan ng Tayabas, Mauban, Sampaloc, ay magkakaugnay po ito. Subalit hindi lamang po yan sapagkat lahat ng bayan sa Quezon ay magkakaugnay. At kung mapapansin po natin, marami sa mga bayan na ito ay iisa ang nagtatag. Kalimitan po ay si Juan de Plasencia. Kaya sabi ko po ay kung hindi natin maitatala ang mga pangyayaring naganap noong unang panahon, mababaon at mababaon sa limot ang mga bagay na ito at hindi na maaalala ng ating mga susunod na henerasyon. So ang mangyayari, pagdating ng panahon, let us say after 50 years, after we have gone from this world, at itong mga batang ito magtatanong, saan ba kami nanggaling? Ano ba nangyari noong una? Kung wala pa natin magtitake ng initiative na magtatala ng mga bayang ito, katulad nito ginagawa nating cultural mapping, ano na ang kahihinatnan ng mga kabataan sa hinaharap? Ano nila at paano nila makikita ang nakaraan kung tayo mismo ay hindi natin itatala ang mga kasaysayang naganap at hindi natin niingatan yung mga bagay na ipinamana rin sa atin ng ating mga ninuno, no? So, kaya napakaganda po ng programa ang ginagawa ito ng Marinduque State College sapagkat sabi ko nga ito ay eye-opener, lalo tingin po sa mga kabataan na kinakailangan talaga nating pahalagaan. Sana ay hindi lamang po kayo ang magkaroon ng ganitong uri ng programa at hoping na lahat ng courses ay magkaroon din ng ganitong mga programa at lahat ng mga universities sa buong Pilipinas. Imagine, makikwento ko po, nakapanghihinayang na kapag ang isang napaka-importanteng bagay o structure with significance, katulad po halimbawa ng Ordobesa Residence ng Mahihai, Laguna. Ang Ordobesa Residential House na dating matatagpuan sa bayan ng Mahihai, Laguna ay itinuturing na the second oldest existing residential house in the Philippines. Second. But then the sad thing is, nabalitaan po natin na itong natitirang bahagi ng Ordobesa Residential House ay giniba at binili ni Architect Acuzar at dinala doon po sa lalawigan ng Bataan. Ito po ay itinayo doon sa Las Casas, Pilipinas, na nandun sa Bataan. At makikita po natin na binuo itong bahay nito using some of the materials from the original residential house of the Besas. Kaya nga lamang ang nakakapanghinayang po doon, nawala siya mismo doon sa lugar kung saan siya original na nakatayo. Nawala isang sabihin na natin na cultural treasure ang bayan ng Mahayhay, Laguna na nakapanghihinayang. So katulad din po ng ilang pangyayari kahit dito sa amin sa Lukban, dati po ang kinatatayuan ng Pacho Rizal Hotel is one of the well-preserved residential house during the kahit nitong 2000 na. But then unfortunately, ito po ay giniba at ginawang Pacho Rizal Hotel. Kaya lang wala po kami nagawa dahil sa ito po ay hindi declared na isang heritage structure. So, nakapanghinayang po ang mga bagay na ito sapagkat gusto nating i-preserve. Subalit mayroong mga tao na walang pagpapahalaga sa ganitong mga gawain. Kaya meron pong, as of now, maikwento ko rin po sa inyo, meron pong hakbang na ginagawa ngayon sa pagtutulungan po ng Lukban Historical Society, ng Tuklas Tayabas, at ng ilang LGU. Kami po ay nagkaroon ng pagpupulong noong nakaraang Huwebes at nais po naming hilingin sa National NCCA, no, na yung mga tulay Kastila dito sa mga lugar ng Lukban, Tayabas, Mauban, Sampaloc, and then Sariaya hanggang Pagbilao ay kilalanin bilang national treasure. Sapagkat ito pong mga tulay na ito, sa aming pag-aaral, sila po ay bahagi ng tinatawag na Kalye Real na ito'y ruta na ginawa ng mga Kastila na dinadaanan po ng mga high-ranking officials ng mga Kastila at ng simbahan, mga opisyal ng simbahan noong panahong una. So ngayon po, dahil sa widening na ginagawa ng DPWH, marami na po sa mga tulay na ito ang naapektuhan. Merong giniba, merong tinapakan, at yung pong iba ay nanganganib na masira pa rin. So nagkaroon po ng initial action itong grupo na ito ng Tuklas Tayabas, Lukban Historical Society, and then the other groups and LGU na hilingin na bigyan ng pagpapahalaga itong mga tulay na ito upang maiwasan sila sa patuloy na pagkasira. Ako po naniniwala na sa ibang mga bayan din, even sa Marinduque, ay meron po ditong mga natitirang bagay na iniwan sa atin ng ating mga ninuno, gayon din ng mga Kastila, na kinakailangan nating bigyan ng pagpapahalaga. So I think this is the right time na tayo po ay magkatulong-tulong upang ang mga bagay nito ay ating pahalagahan at hilingin sa national government na huwag pabayaang masira itong mga bagay na ito. So kaya sana po ay ipagpatuloy ng mga kabataan, lalo tigit kayo ng mga mag-aaral, ang advokasya ng tungkol sa preservation at conservation ng ating mga yaman, lalo tigit ang ating mga minana sa ating mga ninuno. Congratulations po sa inyong lahat na nagsagawa ng ganitong presentasyon, lalo tigit kay Dr. Randy Noblesa na inyong course professor. At ganun din po na maraming salamat na ako'y nakapagbahagi sa inyo na sana po ito ay di lamang pasimula o hindi maging ningas kugo ng lahat ng mga estudyante, kundi sa halip ay ipagpatuloy po natin ang gawain ito sapagkat ang makikinabang nito ay ang ating future generation. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at hoping na lahat po ng gagawin niyo ay maging successful sa darating na panahon. Thank you very much.
Okay, so once again, thank you very much, sir, for that very informative message. So having said that, let me present to you our simple certificate of appreciation. So, Certificate of Appreciation, Marinduque State College, School of Graduate Education and Professional Studies, Eastern Quezon College Incorporation, Gumaca, Quezon. So this certificate of recognition appreciation is hereby awarded to Mr. Cornelio R. Rañeses, founder of Lukban Historical Society of Lukban Art and Lukban Artists Guild. So bigyan naman po natin ng isang masigabong palakpakan ng ating resource speaker. Maraming salamat po sir sa yaman at nabusog kami sa mga impormasyon na binigay ninyo. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat din po. Thank you.
Okay, so this time, are you ready to witness our 4 SEMA presentations na talagang pinaghirapan? I know that doon sa mga previous slides natin, natuto tayo about sa ibang distrito kung yung mga cultural heritages na meron sila. So without any further ado, let us now witness the presentation of natural resources, tangible, movable, immovable, and intangible heritages in District Number 1. Roll, BTR!
Everyone. We hope that everyone is safe. We are the Group 1 and we are assigned to the natural heritage of District 1. In the following slides, we will be able to know a very important and rare natural heritage that is endemic to Southeast Asia and native here in our country. And here are your mappers. We have Miss Charlene Raka, Miss Sarah Maylagan, and yours truly, Mr. Raymart M. Cabrera. Fasten your seatbelt and join us to the journey of knowing our own culture and identity. And yes, you are right. This is the natural heritage that we are looking for. Rare and unique member of the natural shrubs that is native here in our country, which is the Philippines. And that is the Midenilia magnifica, or locally known as Kapa Kapa. As you can see in the slide, these are the captured images of Kapa Kapa. Isn't it beautiful? Right. Are you ready to know more about this plant? Okay, let's go! Okay, so this next slide talks about Kapa Kapa's classification, origin, and habitat. So Kapa Kapa is classified as a member of a shrub, and its origin, of course, it's native here in the Philippines. How about its habitat? It is an epiphytic tropical evergreen shrub that grows to 8 meters tall in its native habitat, where it may be seen growing in part shade location out of soil packets on rainforest trees or in ground in clearings. Midenilia magnifica, or our Kapa Kapa, is a genus of tropical bushes, of which some can also climb on trees like vines or entirely grow on trees. Okay, did you know that Kapa Kapa, just like what we have mentioned from the previous slide, it is an impressive shrub native to the Philippines, and it grows up to 8 meters in height. It has a very broad leathery dark green leaves which can be up to 30 cm long and heart-shaped and leaf base with ivory-colored midribs and periodic masses of pink, red flowers surrounded by showy pink bracts. Now, where can we find our beautiful natural heritage? As you can see in our slide, Kapa Kapa, or the Midenilia magnifica, can be found in some of the barangays in the municipality of Lukban. But it's also good to take note that Kapa Kapa is also present in some areas in Palawan and of course in southern Mindanao. Oh wow! We know that you learned something already from the previous discussion about Kappa Kappa or the Midinilia Magnifica. But wait, there's more! Let us now focus about the features and morphology of Kappa Kappa. So when it comes to flower, it has pink to coral red flowers appear in drooping panicles to 18 inches long, wooded by large, showy, leaf-like, and light pink bracts. And it has a scent of aroma. But take note, many of Midinilia species can create characteristic clusters of flowers followed by pink berries that are turning black when ripe. Hooray! As we continue, you are now seeing the different angles of Kappa Kappa or the Midinilia Magnifica. There, we have the leaves and its fruits. So, what are we waiting for? Let us describe them. Leaves are large, ovate to oblong, prominently veined, leathery green leaves that are from 8 to 12 inches long. And the fruits, as you can see on the presentation, these are violet, fleshy berries that are about 1 centimeter wide. Knock knock! Are you still there? FYI, did you know that Kappa Kappa can be eaten fresh, chopped, and added to salads? Or did you know that it can be used for cooking in soups, stews, stir fries, or any other meal that you want to add some sourness to? It can also be shredded or added to drinks instead of lemon. This plant bears flowers, fruits, and of course, a beautiful landscape. Oops, but wait, there's more! This Kappa Kappa or Midinilia Magnifica is a plant that can be used as a herbal medicine by the locals. Just like what I've mentioned that leaves can be eaten, or leaves for decoctions are drunk as a treatment for, cough, colds, and flu. Test has proven antioxidant activity of leaves. And for more information that the fruits of Kappa Kappa or Midinilia Magnifica contain flavonoids, alkaloids, steroids, saponins, and of course, polyphenols. So we have learned from the previous slides about the features and morphology of Kappa Kappa. But at this moment, let us all listen to the story associated with the origin of Kappa Kappa. Kappa Kappa or the Midinilia Magnifica has been cultivated since the middle of the 19th century when it was first collected and formally described by the English collector J.H. Finch. It was in 1854 the Royal Horticultural Society of England bestowed its grand prize on that plant. Finch tried to frustrate their efforts and keep his trade secret by reporting that he had found the plant on the island of Java in Indonesia. We know that now Kappa Kappa and his report was erroneous because Kappa Kappa is native and unique here in the Philippines. So this time, let us focus on the significance of this natural heritage, which is the Kappa Kappa or the Midinilia Magnifica in our society and to our socio-economic status. Now, my question is, do you have a 10 peso coin in your pocket? Can you see the image in the back of that coin? Yes, you are definitely right. It is the Kappa Kappa. Isn't it amazing? You know what? The image of Kappa Kappa that can be found on the back of the 10 Philippine peso signifies values and importance in our society. But my next question is, do you have your own Kappa Kappa in your house? Well, did you know that households in Quezon who own a beautiful garden of this rare plant signifies class and socioeconomic status? And one more thing before we end. So far, this plant is considerably stable due to its survival characteristics. Since we are situated in the tropical climate, which is suited as its natural habitat, propagation and growth for this plant is considerably high. We hope that as a true loving citizen of our country, we will help to protect and conserve this very amazing plant. Or, of course, the Kappa Kappa, which we believe that it signifies our own identity as a Filipino. We'd like to express our gratitude to the following references: Mr. EdM02, a very good vlogger, and to the histochemical and pharmacological properties of the Philippines. And of course, on behalf of our team, we'd like to acknowledge Dr. Randy for sharing his expertise in filling out the SEMA forms. And to our listeners, classmates, our teacher, and to our beloved guest today, we thank you for your active participation. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you, everyone. Arigato gozaimasu. Okay, so thank you very much, group number 1. So today we are going to proceed for group number 2.
Good morning, everyone. To our professor, guests, and classmates here in EdM02, a wonderful Saturday morning to all of you. Before we proceed to our task, which is cultural mapping, let me introduce to you my group. I'm Glenys Daxil, and I have my 2 equally beautiful group mates, Jelly and William Marzo and Karen Tiangco. We are assigned to discuss the mapping of a significant, tangible, movable heritage. After a few discussions and considerations, we chose the Santo Entierro de Lucban, which is categorized as a religious object. Last week, we had a Zoom interview with the president of Lucban Historical Society, and we have learned so much, not just about the Santo, but also about Lucban, the people, and rich culture, making it the tourist capital of Quezon Province. Lucban is known for its grandest agricultural fiesta called Pahiyas Festival. It is also dubbed as the art capital of Quezon Province. Woo! It's also the summer capital of Quezon. Lucban is one of the best places to visit in the Philippines. Do you know why? First, they have kipin, a rice-made decoration. The Lucban Longganisa, Pancit Habhab, Yema cakes, the breathtaking view of Mount Banahaw, Kamay ni Jesus, Bukid Amara, and the famous Lucban Church. I have so much to say, but without further ado, let me start the presentation with an introduction about the Mahal na Señor, Santo Entierro de Lucban. The devotion of Filipinos to their Catholic religion does not only revolve around church and its rituals, but also on images of veneration known as santos. Introduced during the Spanish colonial times, santos, often of wood or precious ivory, are sacred to most Filipinos, lavishly processioned during Lent, fiestas, and other holidays. Whether they be products of unschooled hands or of trained master carvers, santos have come to be cherished as part of every Filipino family's home. Through new and old santo articles and reprints, vintage photos, personal stories, and interviews, this video honors these treasured images of faith and celebrates the exuberant art of the Filipino santero that still lives on today. According to our informant, Mahal na Señor is considered as an image, a sculpture. It is a painted or carved wooden image, which is one of the religious art forms in the Philippines. This object is associated with the religion Catholicism. More than 86% of the Philippine population is Catholic. Year or date produced. The image of the dead Christ or Mahal na Señor, believed to have been made between late 1700s to early 1800s, and according to local historians of Lukban, it survived the bombings of the Japanese during World War II because locals hid it from farm to farm. It has an estimated age of 180 years old. The original owner of Mahal na Señor was the Lukban Villaseñor clan in 1890s. It was then given to the Ranyola family in 1894 because they were able to claim it back from a wealthy businessman in Manila. This is already the 5th generation of the Ranyola family as owners of Mahal na Señor. The first generation were Juan Ranyola and Josefa Nicomedes. The second generation were Tomas Pacifico Ranyola and Maria Elizar. The third were Dr. Conrado Ranyola and Felicidad Lavadia. The fourth were Edmundo Ramos and Teresita Ranyola, and the current generation is the Aristeo Samson Ranyola Ramos clan. Regarding its acquisition, it is better described as passing through heritage and tradition. Description of the object. Santo Entierro de Locban is really known as Santo Entierro or Interred Christ. It is 6 feet long, hardwood, outfitted with gold regalia. It is believed to have originated in the mid-19th century, and it's visited by people from all over the country on Holy Week, particularly Good Friday. It's also believed that Mahal na Señor has the oldest existing kumot or blanket, which was made in the 19th century. It was repaired and changed to red velvet in 1894. It has a glass-covered sepulchre, and the Señor is richly garbed with jewels and a golden shroud. The embroideries have stems, flowers, and leaves and are colored gold. It also has the paño, handkerchief, and the salumbaba, or bib. Tiso de oro is the fabric used. Now, let's continue the presentation of the CMAP form with Miss Jillian and Miss Karen. Magandang umaga po.
Stories and narratives. Legend of how the image was made. One day, a father ordered his son to get wood that he will use in carving the saint, but his son never finds any wood. To his father's surprise, he suddenly found woods outside their house. Another miracle happened when an old lady lifts the image of Mahal na Señor to safety during the 1945 fire, although it is too heavy for her. An excerpt from the book Kasaysayan at Tala ng Bayan ng Lukban, Quezon, written by Pantaleon Nantes and published in 1952. The author narrated a significant part of the history of Lukban about the Mahal na Señor or the image of the dead Christ, how it ended up in the pawn shop in Manila, causing many illness to the townspeople, and the ownership that was fought all the way to the Corte Suprema or Supreme Court between the original owners led by Lukban Villaseñor clan and the present owners, the Ranyola clan. Beliefs. The rope that is being used in the image of the dead Christ and rubbing of clothes or fabric believed to have healing powers brings luck to those who will use it and cure sickness. Practices associated. Lukbanins believe that the image of the dead Christ holds miraculous powers. It is processed around the streets of Lukban and accompanied mostly by men who vie against one another to be able to touch the bier. The procession usually begins after the adoration of the cross has concluded and almost always finishes just before midnight. It starts in the morning when the priest gives his blessing to the maroon-clad escorts of the dead Christ. On their shoulders, they carry the ropes in which they will pull the bier around the city. The ritual of the pagtatanggal sa krus was just one of the many elaborate and often dizzying Holy Week practices of the Philippines that were either willfully forgotten or suppressed in the aftermath of the Second Vatican Council, casualties of relevant and participatory liturgy. While it has not disappeared completely, the number of parishes in which this ritual takes place had been vastly attenuated. The devotion to the Señor del Santo Entierro is vastly more popular with men than it is with women, since women practically have the rest of the year to be pious and devoted. The men seize Good Friday as a sort of heightened opportunity to display their fortitude, strength, and determination. Men who rarely, if ever, go to church are most active on this day, whether they can be out in the field whipping their backs or else risking the crush of tens of thousands of people in an effort to kiss or touch the image of the dead god on his way to the grave.
The historical significance of Santo Entierro de Lucban, Mahal na Señor serves as the oldest image of Christ in Lucban, Quezon. It reflects the history of Lucbanens on how their faith nourished through time. During Good Friday in Lucban, many devotees flock to join the century-old tradition. Most women and family of the owner will be in charge in changing clothes of the image, which they called pagbibihis. The priest will give blessing to the image by holy water and burning of incense before the procession starts. Most people join the procession and all men will take part of pulling of ropes or usong. Then women are waiting during the transition where they will accompany the carriage back to the house of the dead Christ. Aside from public processions, Lucbanens conducts community prayers every Friday as their act of devotions. They usually pray for the safety of their families and cure for their illness. Usually, devotees have a handkerchief with them to rub it to the feet of Mahal na Señor. Comparative criteria. Provenance. Records of the origin of the image were indicated on the book written by Pantaleonantes, Kasaysayan at Tala ng Bayan ng Lucban, Quezon, published in 1952. Representativeness. The image represents the faith of Lucbanens as a church devotees. Rarity. Mahal na Señor have many devotees. Interpretative potential, fragments of rope torn into amulets, handkerchief being sacred, shirts and other items as holy and blessed. About the physical conditions of Santo Entierro de Lucban, there is no changes in its features because the family Ranyola were taking care of Santo Entierro de Lucban. Every time the devotees or devoto come to the saints holding on its tooth and using a handkerchief, the texture of the tooth of Santo Entierro and the colors did not change. According to Sir Jojo, this is one of the miracles of the Santo. During the public processions, the image has tended to flip because of the devotees who carry it, so the andas or pinaglalagyan was changed into a metal one with wheels. The constraints or threats being encountered were during the public processions when the devotees had difficulty in carrying the patron saint because of other devoto who wants to touch the santo. Some of the accessories in its float like crystals are being destroyed and intentionally taken by the people near the santo. On the part of the government or the historical society, there is no participation in taking care of and preservation of Santo Entierro because only the family was taking care of it. The only participation of Lokban Historical Society is to document and preservation of the pictures and history. During the processions of Santo Entierro, the local government provides securities to ensure the safety of the saints.
Sa spiritual napakalaki. Kasi talagang ang mga banin kasi sabihin na natin na talagang taal na very religious. Actually, hanggang sa ngayon, ang Lokban pa rin ang pinakamaraming na-produce na pare sa buong Quezon. At meron din kami 2 obispo. No? Kaya at ang mga tao talaga dito napaka-madasalin. Kaya nga naman siyempre nagbabago ang panahon, pero sa ngayon ay marami pa rin talaga mga devoto si Santo Entierro. At yan ay kapag Good Friday, kapag ipinoposisyon yun, para bang pakiramdam ko marami ang bumabait. Kasi yung pagpusong nila sa prosesyon, yung pagpapakita nila ng kanilang devosyon, para sa akin yun ay malaking spiritual upliftment.
Okay, so thank you very much. So this time, let's proceed with tangible, immovable.
Happy Saturday morning to each and every one of us. In this presentation, we will be talking about one of the most significant tangible, immovable heritage under the specific category of schools and educational complexes, which is the San Luzon State University's Jose Rizal Building, more popularly known as the College of Arts and Sciences. First off, let me introduce to you the members assigned for this tangible, immovable cultural heritage. Our team includes Ma'am Kyra Ko, Ma'am Javelin Robles, and your reporter for this cultural heritage, Laster Tan. To start off, let me say that I am not a stranger when it comes to SLSU, especially not to Jose Rizal Building, as I am an alumnus, as well as a former employee at SLSU. And most of the time that I spent during those years majorly revolves around the Jose Rizal Building. The building itself is situated within the SLSU complex, an educational complex whose total land area ranges from about 5 hectares. The university complex itself is located at Barangay Culapi in Lucban, Quezon. It is a state university owned publicly by the government of the Philippines, and believe it or not, SLSU is about to celebrate its 57th founding anniversary at the 4th of August. The building is surrounded by the Freedom Park in its right side, which is now converted to become the Psychology Laboratory building. At the left side is the College of Allied Medicine. In front of the building is the Hermano Puli building, which is also known as the Techno building. Between SLSU's main gate and Jose Rizal building is the school's quadrangle, an area dedicated to Lukban-born local hero Hermano Pule, wherein one of his monuments is erected. The Jose Rizal building is primarily composed of 4 floors. The first floor houses the dean's office, a conference room, and several faculty and staff rooms. At the middle of the building is a staircase that leads continuously up to the topmost floor. On each side of the stairs, bathrooms can be found. Left bathroom for the girls and right bathroom for the boys, except on the fourth floor where no bathrooms are installed. The second floor is solely intended for homerooms. This is where CAST students will spend most of their time during their stay. The rooms are labeled from left to right as JR201 to JR206. The third floor is solely intended for laboratory activities, and this floor, a taxidermy cabinet full of preserved animals and insects are displayed. Along within this floor is the science stock room, while the rest of the rooms are laboratory rooms labeled as JR301 to JR307. The fourth floor is composed of a central hall and 2 open space area on both sides. The hall acts as an event center, which is also known as the Hamlet Hall. At both sides of the building is where the fire exits can be found. The fire exit at the side of where the Freedom Park was once located directly connects to the new psychology laboratory building. As for the history of Jose Rizal building, it is said that it is one of the original buildings and therefore can be assumed as old as the university itself. In 2007, faculty facilities as well as the Hamlet Hall were improved and rehabilitated. There are multiple stories surrounding the Jose Rizal building due to its old age. Stories about playful ghost children are very typical. Instances where you will find and hear running footsteps towards you along the corridor, then disappears instantly. Footsteps running and jumping on both fire exits, unexplainable crying sounds in bathrooms, empty cubicles, as well as crying children on the Hamlet Hall. The Jose Rizal building has a historical significance since it is the oldest building within the university complex. It holds a greater deal of importance when it comes to cultural preservation since it acted as a conduit for excellent education all throughout the years. The Jose Rizal building also has a social significance. Before considering it as a heritage, it should be considered first and foremost as a school building which shapes the mind of the learners for the future to come. Besides providing good quality education, the College of Arts and Sciences also have extension programs focused to assist adopted barangays like the Medical Dental Feeding Program conducted by the Hinayan organization at Barangay Kulapi to provide community linkages within the said barangay. Protection and preservation of Mount Banahaw San Cristobal Protected Landscape is also included as one of the activities of the College of Arts and Sciences. Workshops and seminars conducted by psychology and history students also aims to address certain issues pertaining to mental health and cultural knowledge within the immediate society and the community. With all of that said, this concludes our report about Southern Luzon main campus's Jose Rizal building as a tangible, immovable heritage. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so thank you very much, Tangible Immovable Group. So this time, let's proceed with the intangible heritage.
Good morning, everyone. Our group is tasked to present Keeping, an Intangible Cultural Heritage. Keeping is a significant intangible cultural heritage under the category of traditional craftsmanship. It is a traditional Filipino leaf-shaped wafer made from glutinous rice. It is one of the highlights celebrated annually in the Pahiyas festival. It can be eaten grilled or fried and can be dipped in sugar, vinegar, or other sauces. Kiping originates from the city of Lukban, Quezon. Lukban is dubbed as the art capital of Quezon province. It is accessible by land from Metro Manila, passing through Rizal province via Manila East Road or via South Luzon Expressway. History. In the year 734, Captain Francisco de los Santos of Lucban, Tayabas, boarded the galleon trade bound for Acapulco, Mexico for an observation tour of home industries with commercial value. He tagged along with him Juan Suarez, a native Lucban who has propensity in culinary arts and has a flair making finger foods of Lucban. While the two were in Acapulco, their fancy was caught by the production of tacos, or taquitos, Barquillos making. After several training, Mr. Suarez learned the basics of the trade. That year, upon their return to the Philippines, and upon reaching Lucban, Tayabas, Mr. Juan Suarez lost no time and attempted to make tacos and taquitos using local materials, or the rice galafong. Being naturally creative, he tried to improve the processes as well as the ingredients. Thus, instead of the tubal shape of tacos, Mang Juan experimented on the thin lateral shape of the tacos by using the leaves of banana, cut into squares of 10-inch each. The ground mixed with water and atsuete as food coloring is made to slide evenly and thinly over the squared banana leaves. Then, each leaf steamed over a container of boiling water for several minutes. The word keeping was derived from the root word kipi or kinipi, a local term which means to dehydrate the extra water content of the dough by putting heavy object on it. The drained dough is then kneaded by putting the desired color and by adding enough water to make the dough semi-liquid. Once in this state, the semi-liquid form is poured in measured amount over the squared banana leaves, tilted a bit, and made to spread thinly over the entire surface of the leaf. Then the cooked keeping, still sticking on the banana leaf, is laid to a mat to dry overnight. The next day, the dried keeping is removed from the leaf, tied with bundle fiber on one corner, each bundle together, laid on a board and put a heavy object over it. Press the keeping flay. After 6 hours, the heavy weight is removed and the keeping is made. In preparing the pahiyas decoration, the keeping of different colors are so arranged as to create a beautiful artistic design such as giant flower with leaves, a chandelier in monochromatic or contrasting colors. In short, chandeliers or drooping shape from above the windows down to almost touching the ground level at the facade of the house. Picture bearers. The people of Lucban, Quezon are the foremost bearers of the heritage. They are commonly known for the love of art, in which the town is being tagged as the art capital of Quezon province. This can be shown on the showcase of the most colorful keepings that decorates the town during the Pahiyas festival. The local knowledge was acquired from the elders, church, and educational institutions through direct observations, participant observations, apprenticeships, formal and informal training, and folklore. The younger generations learn about history, keeping making, pagpapahiyas, arangya making, roles to perform, and conduct of celebrating the festival. The significance of oral traditions in the preservation and promotion of cultural and spiritual values and beliefs among the Lukbanins serve as a mystical instrument in maintaining Pahayas Festival as a moving and dynamic legacy. The story of San Isidro Labrador has been narrated into several versions and passed on to the younger generations by the elders. The story is also taught in school and church. The story teaches the people to be thankful for what is given to them, and that this must be shared with others. Because of the story, the people became more generous. Many parishioners in Lukban gave part of their blessings to the church. Because of the support that they receive from the people, all sacraments are provided to the people for free.
Doon na ako. Ito lang. Ano ulam? Noodles? Luto ka na ng noodles?
Festivities are the people's way of offering their thanksgiving for the bountiful harvest that they have received for the year. It involves adornment of the facade of houses with varied agricultural and non-agricultural produce of the specific occupations they engage in. Furthermore, the practice of the said traditions have led the way for the new generations to preserve the culture and beliefs of their people. Since keeping can be edible, it also has an economic significance. Aside from attracting tourists because of its colorful appearance, it can also be sold as a delicacy for all to enjoy. While the Lukbanins are very much proud of the Pahiyas festival, where it highlights the keeping as their main decoration for the festivities, the tradition of which the practices that made it known is still widely observed until today. The threats that will endanger it from extinction will be the rejection of the present generation to accept the tradition. Natural calamities or unexpected pandemic will be a hindrance to make the festivities happen, and the way to protect it will be preserving the tradition and passing it continuously for the future generation. And this ends our presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, so thank you very much po sa lahat po ng mga nag-present at alam kong kahit napakadami na ginagawa, teachers who are in the public schools right now. Thank you very much for the effort na talagang binigay ninyo para ma-fill out ito team of course. And of course, I would like to say thank you sa lahat ng mappers natin or sa ating napakagaling na professor para mag-guide tayo at out. So this time po ay hihingan po natin from the Philippine National Artist Director, Sir, from the Vice President and Artistic Director of Cultural Center of the Philippines, Mr. Chris Miliado po.
Hi everyone.
Po si Chris Miliado, Vice President at Artistic Director ng Sentrong Pagkultura ng Pilipinas, na binabati ang lahat doon sa kanilang culminating activity dito sa School of Graduate and Professional Studies Extension Program ng Marinduque State College sa pamumuno ni Mr. Randy Nobleza. Pagbati ito mula sa Sentrong Pagkultura ng Pilipinas sa napakahalagang ginagawa ninyong cultural mapping. Alam niyo po, talagang ito yung pinaka-core na activity upang malaman natin kung ano yung specific characteristics o identidad ng ating probinsya, lalawigan, ng ating locality para makaambag ito sa tinatawag nating pagbuo ng ating cultural identity. Sa palagay ko, marami kayong natagpuan at nadiskubre at parang na-strengthen na kaalaman tungkol dun sa mayayaman na tradisyon, mayayaman na cultural practices, performances, musika, theater, dance, literature mula sa Quezon Province. At isa itong unang hakbang upang ipamahagi hindi lamang sa buong bayan, kundi sa buong mundo kung ano ang katangi-tangi mga biyaya pangkultural at pangsining ang nagbibigay ng identidad sa lalawigan ng Quezon. Kaya maraming salamat sa inyong pagpupunyagi.
Ayan, so maraming salamat po once again, Mr. Chris Miliado, the Vice President and Artistic Director of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Yan, ibang level tayo, pang national level na tayo. So this time, hihingan po naman natin ng message ang ating, of course, ang ating professor sa Advanced Nihongo class. Walang iba kundi si Dr. Randy T. Noblesa. A round of applause for Sir Randy. So I think meron pong technical glitch. Hindi po clear yung connection ni Sir Randy. So we are going to proceed for the closing remarks and synthesis of our program to be given to us by Miss Nani May Dinopol.
Hello, sir. Good morning, everyone. Naririnig po ba ako, sir?
Yes po.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. Philippines, as we know it, is very rich in historical and cultural heritage. Wherever you go, you can always find something interesting to learn and know about. All having unique stories of places, things, personas, and events that connect us to the past. And today, we have witnessed the 4 presentations of cultural mapping from the 1st District of Quezon Province. Each presentation highlighted the distinct yet valuable cultures in terms of natural resources, built heritage, movable and intangible heritage. This presentation also made each one of us realize that we are indeed very proud to be a Filipino. Thank you and have a pleasant day, everyone.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ma'am Nana May Dinopol. So in this juncture, may I request po yung ating beloved guest evaluator to give us a very simple and short message about the presentations that we have conducted. Sir Jojo from the Lukban Historical Society. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, good morning ulit. Good tanghali na. So, the only thing I can say is it is well presented. Napakaganda po ng presentation. Very clear. At nais ko lang pong sabihin na I'm very proud na everybody knows about the Lukban being the art capital of Quezon Province. I'm proud to say na ako po ang proponent kung bakit naging art capital ng Quezon Province ang Lukban. At ito po ay ginawa ko ng ordinance, and I presented the ordinance to Sangguniang Panlalawigan, and it was later on approved. Ganun din po, nais ko lang pong i-check din. We usually use the word puli. The right term is puli. So yung po ay hermano puli. Since na yung marami po nagkakamali puli, but then the right word there is puli, since ang pangalan niya is Apolinario de la Cruz. So napakaganda po ng presentation at wala akong masabi. Well presented po lahat ng mga detalye na dapat mapalagay o masabi tungkol sa mga ni-present ay nasabi at it was well documented. At sana po ay mai-share natin ito sa iba para din malaman nila at magkaroon din sila ng inspiration. All I'm hoping for is for other towns and municipalities and cities in Quezon as well as in Marinduque na sana'y magkaroon din po sila ng ganito mga presentation in order to present the same to sa mga bisita kundi mismo sa mga sariling mamamayan para malaman nila yung kanilang mga kultura. Congratulations everybody for a very nice presentation and congratulations to Marinduque State College sa ganitong proyekto, most especially to Dr. Randy Noblesa. Thank you very much and congratulations.
So once again, Sir Jojo, on behalf of my classmates po, maraming salamat po sa napakagandang message at sa challenge na binigay niyo sa amin bilang teacher. Paano namin ito ibibigay, yung mga informasyon na aming natutunan, paano namin ito ilalahad sa iba naman. Okay? So this time po, balikan po natin yung ating professor, Dr. Randy Noblesa, para po sa kanyang message. I think na okay na po yung kanyang connection. Sir Noblesa? Okay, so I think hindi pa rin tayo, kasi alam naman natin sa Pilipinas na hindi maganda ang connection when it comes to, so wala daw audio. Okay. So now, magpo-proceed po tayo sa giving of our certificates. So let's proceed with the certificates po.
Hello.
So, Zoom team, can you please flash the certificates on screen, please? Ayan, nandiyan na si Sir Randy. Doc Randy, your message po for all of us. Sir, you are muted po.
Just a simple reminder. So today is our last day. I'd like to acknowledge all the best effort that you put into. I'd like to say na it's all worth the wait and it's all worth it. And it's all worth the while na ginawa natin to. So meron tayong mga kasama dito from MSC through YouTube and meron tayong mga kasama from Thailand through EQC and meron tayong mga taga Quezon, the rest from QACI. So I hope that this would continue and we will prosper because 2021 is the international year for creative economy and for sustainable development and global recovery. So kahit pandemya tayo ngayon at ganito yung nating sitwasyon, we will recover and hopefully we can build better. So meron tayong activity pa sa mga susunod. So I'm pleased to say na sa July 21, magkakameron na ng turnover ang Santa Cruz with their local culture profile. So sa Wednesday yan and by July 23, mayroon din akong presentation in the ASEAN University Network in Culture and Arts. And we will participate sa Crosslight Arts Festival by July 26 to 30. And by July 31 ay meron tayong series ng webinar in celebration of the Battle of Payi in Buwak, Marinduque. So please stay tuned dito sa ating platform sa MCCA TV and even beyond sa ating foreign language na course. I hope we still continue in ating partnership in ating nasimulan. I hope Lukban, Tayabas, Lucena and other towns in Quezon magkameron ng ganitong initiative and we will build better in the years to come. So thank you and much appreciated.
Ayan, maraming salamat sa aming isa sa mga coolest teachers na nakilala ko, Dr. Professor Randy Noblesa. At congratulations din po dahil sa yun dahil kayo ay ang ating school, ang ating alma mater, Marinduque State College ay dahil sa pangunguna ni Sir ay naging accredited ng ASEAN for Cultural and Arts. Maraming salamat Sir and congratulations. At sa ngayon naman po, we will be proceeding with the distribution of our certificates. So Zoom team, so this certificate of appreciation from the Marinduque State College, School of Graduate Education and Professional Studies, Eastern Quezon College Incorporation, Gumaca, Quezon, is given to Mr. Raymark M. Cabrera for his or her valuable effort and contribution on learning Japanese language as one of the requirements of the course Advanced Nippongo, given the 17th of July, 2021, signed by Dr. Randy T. Nobleza, our Advanced Nippongo Professor, and of course, signed by Dr. Melchor Spirito, of course, and of course, Dr. Arnel Rodelas, our school president. So maraming salamat po. Another certificate for Miss Cara Eliana Sico. Hi, ma'am. Can you please open your camera and say hi to our viewers? Ma'am Glynis and Daxil, hello. Sawadee krap from Thailand. Sawadee krap tukon. Next, we have another certificate to Mr. Joseph P. Dinopol, say hi from Thailand also. Another certificate of appreciation is awarded to we have Miss Nanime E. Dinopol, say hi from Thailand as well. Sawadee krap. Next, we have certificate of appreciation from Sarah May B. Ilagad. Yes. And of course, another certificate of appreciation is hereby awarded to, we have Miss Karen S. Bianco. Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. And of course, we have Miss Charlene C. Raka. Congratulations. This is your certificate of appreciation. Another certificate will be given to, yes, Jovaline E. Robles. Yay! Another certificate of appreciation to Sawadee from Thailand, Nilyel D. Suson. And of course, we have another certificate for Sir Laster Jan Tan. And I think this would be the last certificate. Miss Jalian V. Villamarso. Maraming salamat and congratulations. And I do believe na kahit na napakadami nating trabaho, na nagawan pa natin ng paraan para makapag-fill out ng mga SIMA forms with the help of our able, coolest teacher ng Marinduque State University. Oh, the university na yan. Sir Dr. Randy Nobleza. Maraming salamat po. And sa lahat po ng mga viewers natin, live na live tayo from YouTube at sa ating Zoom seminar. So may request yung mga classmates natin dyan na paki-open your camera and then para makapag-wave tayo at masabi natin yung ating final message para sa lahat ng mga viewers natin. Okay, so ang sasabihin po natin ay, can you please open your microphone at sama-sama tayong magsabi na
Please include in the proceedings and picture.
So once again, thank you very much from Thailand, straight from Thailand. Sawadee krap tukon. This is Mr. Raymark M. Cabrera and sana stay safe lang tayong lahat. Maraming salamat. At makakaroon daw tayo ng photo opportunity. Paki-open daw po yung inyong mga camera. Okay. So say cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Cheese.
Another angle. Sabi ng chicken. Chicken. Okay, once again, thank you very much. Sana po stay safe tayo. COVID cases. Maraming salamat. Stay safe and God bless everyone. Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you so much, sir.
QEC ay muna, then EQC, tapos lahat.
Okay.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
QEC daw po muna.
Paki-off muna yung mga taga-EQC, tapos we'll have your turn. So pakibukas po yung mga QACI na students and include in your proceedings due on Monday. So salamat pala kay Chad ng ICPSC. So magla-lunch muna yan and may kasunod na tayong course. And yun natin mga estudyante sa MSc. So bukas pa yung balik ko pero meron ako mga habilin through Google Classroom tsaka sa ating chat. Sige Sir Lagos. Sino ba nag-document?
Mami Chi, ano na po sa documentation natin? Mami Chi? Mami Chi?
Okay, sir, naririnig ko.
Okay po, paki-open na po yung mic natin for documentation po.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Isa pa po, para po sa next, sa second page.
Isa pa daw po.
1, 2, 3. Yan. Gusto niyo pa po ba ng waki? Sige. Waki daw. 1, 2, 3.
Okay na po.
Okay.
Okay na po, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, QSCI. So, EQC naman, yun natin 12 students. So, thank you sa 46 students ng QSCI. So, EQC naman. Please, Chad, okay na tayo sa live, na lang to.
Okay,
so
po.
meeting na lang.
Thank you po.
Salamat, Sir Gian. So, sa Monday na lang, and yung reflection, meron na tayong assignment para mapagpasa.